the supreme dragon of the era of Tamers. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 426 Harsh Requirements. A high-level alchemist is not a useless person no matter how you look at it. Chen Wei frowned slightly, and even began to feel that he was wasting his time. Failed people are not terrible, but people who have lost their spirit and have nothing to ask for are terrible. After experiencing setbacks, he thinks he is a useless person. Even if he has 1,000-year-old evergreen stone milk, he will not waste it on such a person who has no spirit at all. However, it is rare to see a five-glory alchemist. In the entire Xixia Association, apart from him, only the junior sister has reached this level. Now that he is here, if Chen Wei does not try a few more times and evaluate the other party's character based on the information, he is also a little unwilling. Is an alchemist who can only refine second-level pills also considered a high-level alchemist? Zhang Jinaiao said self-deprecatingly. After she was seriously injured, many forces immediately extended an olive branch and tried to help her in time, including the Top East Control Force, the Xiantuhan family, one of the 5 major families of Zitan. In the final analysis, it's just whether it's worth it. Zhang Jinaiao's eyes flashed with a haze, and he thought to himself. After learning that her pet had died, her source star had been downgraded, her spirit had been severely damaged and difficult to recover, and she could only refine second-level elixirs at most. Her friends and relatives who usually surrounded her disappeared completely, and even the forces that had taken a fancy to her shook their heads and sighed, saying that they were powerless to save the situation. In the final analysis, in the eyes of many beast-controlling forces in Zitan City, her future was basically cut off, and she, who had lost her value, was not worthy of a 7th-level low-grade elixir, restoring life pill. Of course, in addition to some big forces, there were also many well-informed small forces trying to buy at the bottom to recruit Zhang Jinaiao. After all, no matter what, she was once a high-level alchemist, a big figure that these small forces could not contact on weekdays. But small forces are small forces, and the price they offered was so low that people couldn't help laughing. If the 2 top students from Zitan University who suddenly came to her door heard the price she offered, they might turn around and leave. Thinking of this, Zhang Jinaiao smiled and looked at Chen Wei, who was a little disappointed, with a calm look in his eyes. Even the Top East Control Forces in Zitan City chose to give up on her in the end. She didn't think that Chen Wei, the mysterious man who suddenly came to her door, could produce the priceless 7th-level elixir. Seeing this, Chen Wei sighed in his heart. It seemed that the blow caused by the death of the alien beast and the demotion of the source star was even greater than he imagined. Although our Xixia Club is a newly established medicine refining club, it dares to innovate and strive, and its potential can be said to be infinite. If Senior Zhang is willing to serve as the tutor of Xixia Club, we can discuss any problems that we can meet, Yu Zilman couldn't help but say. As Zhang Jinaiao's information collector, she knew how much Chen Wei valued Zhang Jinaiao. Click, hearing the name of Xixia Club, Zhang Jinaiao's heart was shocked, and a hole collapsed by a finger suddenly appeared on the counter. If I remember correctly, Xixia Club was founded by Chen Wei, who has recently become famous all over the world. Who are you? Zhang Jinaiao's eyes condensed, pretending to be calm. Senior, I almost forgot to introduce myself. This is Chen Wei, the president of our Xixia Club, and I am Yu Zilman, the vice president, Yu Zilman said proudly. Hearing this, Zhang Jinaiao's pupils shrank slightly, and her eyes were filled with disbelief. She didn't expect that the genius she had long admired would actually take a fancy to her among so many senior alchemists in Zitan City and visit her. Forget about the senior, just call me a Yao. Zhang Jinaiao's voice was a little hoarse. It would have been fine if she didn't know their identities before, but now that she knew their identities, she didn't dare to put on the airs of a senior alchemist in front of this genius who is rarely seen in 1,000 years. Although the identity of a senior alchemist is extremely noble in the eyes of ordinary people, it is simply not worth mentioning compared to the disciple of a grandmaster alchemist. What's more, Zhang Jinaiao has been paying attention to Chen Wei recently and deeply understands Chen Wei's evilness. Only alchemists know how outrageous it is that Chen Wei has refreshed the history of Donghu country's alchemy at the age of 19 and became the youngest senior alchemist in history. However, her potential was limited. She was already 37 when she became a senior alchemist. If she had not been blessed with a unique opportunity, it would have been difficult for her to break through to the master level in her lifetime. This was also the reason why she was determined to join the Red Sand City Alchemy Association. Senior AO, if you have any requests, just tell me. Seeing that Chen Wei's eyes were fixed on Zhang Jin'ao, Yu Zilman spoke again. Upon hearing this, Zhang Jin'ao's eyes showed a hint of entanglement. When she was invited by an unknown small force, she would always offer a high price of a 7th level elixir, restoring life pill, to refuse, so that the other party would retreat. But when facing Chen Wei, Zhang Jin'ao didn't dare to offer the price of the restoring life pill, for fear of scaring the other party away. You know, as a disciple of Grandmaster Han, Chen Wei has the ability and strength to take out the restoring life pill. I am seriously injured and my lifespan has been greatly reduced. My only goal is to heal my injuries, Zhang Jin'ao said. Yu Zilman frowned slightly. If Zhang Jin'ao dared to quote the price of the life-restoring pill, she would definitely let the other party know clearly how precious the 7th level pill is at the first time. As if sensing Yu Zilman's solemnity, Zhang Jin'ao looked at Chen Wei and finally said, I don't need money, I just need the qualification to buy the life-restoring pill. Qualification. Yu Zilman tilted her head to look at Chen Wei. She did not forget that Chen Wei was the person in charge of the Zixia Society. Coming back to his senses from surprise, Chen Wei looked directly at Zhang Jin'ao and said, what if I want you to refine the pill for 12 hours a day and maintain a success rate of more than 50%? Zhang Jin'ao was slightly stunned. Even if she was an apprentice laborer in the alchemy workshop, she only worked 8 hours a day. Even so, many apprentices with weak physiques would suffer from diseases due to excessive loss of mental and physical strength. 12 hours? Such high-intensity alchemy work is enough to make her who is seriously injured die directly. Is this called recruiting a club tutor? I'm afraid it's not recruiting dead soldiers. Strange, Chen Wei is not such a harsh person. Could it be that Zhang Jin'ao offended him? It shouldn't be. Yu Zilman's eyes flashed with doubt. Seeing the hesitation and helplessness flashing across Zhang Jin'ao's face, Chen Wei said bluntly, how about it? Can you accept it? Sorry, I refuse. I don't want to die in vain. The hesitation in Zhang Jin'ao's eyes gradually disappeared, and instead revealed a hint of disappointment. With my injuries, I can't persist in such high-intensity alchemy work for a month, let alone a week. She looked at Yu Zilman with a trace of pity. Feeling this sight, Yu Zilman hesitated. The environment of Zixia Club is very leisurely. Let alone 12 hours, there are only a handful of members who refine medicine for more than 5 hours a day. What if I can heal your injuries and improve your alchemy skills? Chen Wei's voice was tempting. Chapter 427 Extreme Talent. How is it possible? This was the first thought that came to Zhang Jin'ao's mind, but looking at Chen Wei's serious face, she hesitated again. After all, she was just a senior alchemist, and she had no idea of the power of a Grandmaster alchemist. Perhaps this extremely troublesome terminal illness could be easily cured in the hands of a Grandmaster. If what you said is true, then my life will be yours in the future. Zhang Jin'ao suppressed the tension and expectation in his heart, and said word by word, if you don't believe it, I can sign a death contract with you. Chen Wei looked at Zhang Jin'ao in surprise. The death contract is a secret treasure handed down from ancient times. It is divided into 9 levels. The higher the level, the higher the binding force of the contract. The 9th level death contract is even more terrifying than the legendary oath. According to historical records, even if a legendary strongman dared to violate the contract after signing the 9th level death contract, he would still fall under the backlash of the death contract. In ancient times, many supernatural families would search for death contracts to cultivate geniuses searched and robbed from the outside world. Nowadays, with the passage of time, there are very few death contracts that can survive in the long river of time. Under Chen Wei's gaze, Zhang Jin'ao took out a mysterious scroll from the star ring that exuded a faint mist, and there were colorful lights flashing on the surface, giving people a solemn atmosphere. Chen Wei's eyes moved slightly, and the information of the scroll instantly appeared in his mind. Level 5 death contract. It seems that Zhang Jin'ao is not only extremely talented, but also has an opportunity. Level 5 death contract can only be used to restrain beastmasters below level 6, and it is ineffective for beastmasters, so Chen Wei did not care too much. Next, under Chen Wei's surprised eyes, Zhang Jin'ao held a death contract in both hands, as if she wanted to kneel on one knee and hand it to him. Zhang Jinai's meaning was very clear. If Chen Wei did not trust her enough, he could use this death contract to conclude a treaty. Not that. Chen Wei quickly stretched out his hand to stop her. Because of the huge difference in physical strength between the two sides, Chen Wei did not dare to use too much force to avoid hurting Zhang Jinai, and she finally half-knelt on the ground. Get up, I don't need you to work for me, the death contract is waived, you just need to make pills for me every day. Hearing this, Zhang Jinai's eyes darkened slightly. Although the death contract will become a constraint on her, it can also make her become Chen Wei's most trusted confidant. This is my mobile phone number. When you finish dealing with this medicine hall and make up your mind, come to Rosewood University to find me. The promise I made is still valid. After looking at the time, Chen Wei took out his business card and put it in her withered palm, and then walked out of the medicine hall with Yu Zilman, leaving Zhang Jinai standing there blankly. It turns out that there are miracles in this world. Looking at Chen Wei's disappearing figure, Zhang Jinai's heart burst out with an unprecedented strong desire and longing. No matter what Chen Wei saw to pull her out of the quagmire, from today on, she is Chen Wei's diehard supporter. As for the crazy 12 hours of alchemy every day, perhaps it is the tempering of Zixia society's will to join the association. Thinking of this, Zhang Jinai hesitated for a moment, and then a firm look flashed in her eyes. She turned and walked to the medicine cabinet, stretched out her right hand to open the mechanism. As the white jade bottle on the medicine cabinet turned, a tiny secret door opened, and the glass fire rabbit hurriedly ran in and took out a tightly packed box. Looking at the box that the glass fire rabbit was biting, Zhang Jinai fell into memories again. All the people who knew about it in Zitan City thought that she ignored the warnings of the accompanying Beastmaster because she was eager for success, and stubbornly risked the anger of the broken Skywind Dragon to enter its territory to pick spiritual medicine. As a result, the broken Skywind Dragon retaliated and attacked, causing the Beastmaster who accepted the protection mission to be wiped out. But in fact, the real reason was that they accidentally entered a hidden ruins that appeared randomly at the entrance when they were picking herbs in the mountains. There was no treasure or inheritance inside the ruins, only a strangely disappeared stone and a 6th-level Thunder and Dragon dual-element spiritual herb, Royal Thunder Dragon Grass, that was about 500 years old. It was just that they were unlucky. The anchor point for leaving the ruins was inconsistent with the entry point, and they appeared directly near the territory of the sky-breaking Wind Dragon. I originally wanted to save more money and then use you to exchange for a life-saving pill, but now I guess it's not necessary, Zhang Jinai murmured. Just say whatever you want to say. Looking at Yu Zilman, who was hesitant to speak several times, Chen Wei said with a smile. A high-level alchemist is worth conquering, but wouldn't it be a bit of a waste to use the 7th-level pill? And will Zixia Club start to implement the rule of refining medicine for 12 hours a day? She said cautiously. She is different. She has the potential to impact the master level or even grandmaster level alchemist. As for the new rule, if you implement it, I'm afraid all the students in the club will run away. Chen Wei glanced at Yu Zilman. Zhang Jinai is different from others. Her potential and talent need a long time of alchemy to develop. Yu Zilman frowned slightly, and thought of Zhang Jinai's information in her mind. Zhang Jinai was able to come out of an institution like the alchemy shop that only makes money. Naturally, she has her own special features. Zhang Jinai's innate talent, hard training, allows her to gain some insights in the repeated process of refining medicine. In other words, as long as she practices hard enough times, she can gradually master most of the low-level pill recipes. This talent sounds good, but as the level of the alchemist gets higher and higher, the effect of hard training will become weaker and weaker. After all, refining a furnace of high-level pills requires a large amount of spiritual medicine, and each alchemist has limited chances to make mistakes. Not to mention failing more than a dozen times, 3 consecutive failures are enough to make an ordinary alchemist lose the opportunity to go further for life. There was once an alchemy force that tried to cultivate a master alchemist with a talent of hard training, but in the end it was discovered that this was a huge loss-making business. The investment of resources alone was enough to hollow out a second-rate beast control force. Seeing Yu Zilman frowning, Chen Wei smiled and had no intention of explaining. Originally, he was just trying to subdue a 5-star Yankee toolman this time, but he didn't expect to accidentally discover the changes in Zhang Jinai. Misfortunes often bring blessings. Perhaps even Zhang Jinai herself did not notice that although her source star was severely downgraded, her innate talent, hard training, had already begun a new transformation. Thinking of the ultimate talent that he had never heard of, a glimmer flashed in Chen Wei's eyes: dull learning and accumulated merit, the innate talent that is undergoing transformation. As long as you study hard, you can make the skills you practice enter the realm of mastery. Perhaps even Chen Wei himself did not expect that the moment he saw Zhang Jinai in the Jinxin Medicine Hall, the gears of fate had begun to turn. Chapter 428, Few to Beast Refining Tower. By the way, is there any activity in the school recently? Looking at the unfamiliar faces at the entrance of Zidin University, Chen Wei slowed down his pace slightly. The reason why he could find something wrong was that the dress of these girls was very different from the school uniform of Zidin University. The chest of Zidin University's school uniform is decorated with rosewood texture, and there are faint cloud stripes on the cuffs, giving people a sense of elegance and nobility. These girls are wearing coral red tops with phoenixes engraved on them, and dark red lotus leaf skirts that sway slightly in the wind. Such red and fiery clothes not only do not give people a sense of vulgarity on them, but instead add a bit of elegant and luxurious temperament, which is particularly conspicuous in the crowd. If Chen Wei remembers correctly, such distinctive clothing should be the school uniform of Zhejiang University. The school plans to open the Few to Beast Refining Tower next, and many exchange students from the other 4 major schools have come recently. Yu Zilman looked at the girls with different temperaments in the distance, and a hint of understanding appeared in her eyes. You may not know the news because you were in seclusion a few days ago. The senior students of the Beast Taming Department have added several exchange students from Zhejiang University and Liashu University 3 days ago. These seniors from Zhejiang University are relatively late, I see. Chen Wei touched the colorful spirit on his wrist. The reason why the 5 colleges and 8 academies of Donghu country can dominate all the top East Taming colleges and enjoy great prestige is that these 13 colleges each have a unique school treasure and are capable of quickly training powerful beast tamers. In order to promote and strengthen the training of the new generation of beast tamers to cope with the increasingly rampant situation of strange beasts, Donghu country started a student exchange training program as early as the 600th year of the star calendar, referred to as the Star Making Program, to give students with unlimited potential more possibilities. Buzz, looking at the message sent by the master on the phone, Chen Wei's heart moved. The teacher has something to ask me. I'll trouble you with the club affairs in the future. Hearing that it was Professor Han, Yu Zilman's face changed slightly. Go quickly, don't let Professor Han wait too long. After she became the vice president of Ziksha Club, she knew what it meant to lean on a big tree for shade. With Chen Wei, the disciple of a Grand Master Alchemist, as a backer, the classmates who used to be indifferent now all smile when they see her. Recruiting talents for the club only requires spreading the news, and many powerful beast masters will come to the door for selection. Before this, Yu Zilman had never thought that some beast master family children who she could only look up to and had no contact with would be so humble in front of her in order to join Ziksha Club and get the opportunity to contact Chen Wei, and even offer her a lot of precious beast master resources with both hands. Don't worry, Master is a very good person, and I will introduce you to each other when I have the chance. Looking at the cautious Yu Zilman, Chen Wei smiled. Well, go quickly. This is the income and expenditure report and account details of Ziksha Club during this period. She took out a stack of reports and handed them to Chen Wei. Seeing the report, Chen Wei's face suddenly froze. Every once in a while, Yu Zilman would hand him all the details of Ziksha Club, but he was not interested in these complicated data at all. Because Chen Wei knew clearly that he created Ziksha Club just to increase the source of Denki and the channel of power. In this era where strength is respected, as long as he can continue to maintain the terrifying speed of progress, regardless of whether his subordinates have different intentions, he is the well-deserved ruler, and no one dares to raise objections. However, according to Yu Zilman, as the president, Chen Wei can be a hands-off boss without reading the report, but as the vice president, it is her duty to report all the situations of Ziksha Club. Okay, I will find time to read it. After saying that, Chen Wei hurriedly patted Kailing on his wrist. Kailing's eyes lit up slightly, a ripple in space flashed, and she and Chen Wei disappeared instantly. Strange, in the queue of teachers and students of Zhejiang University who were undergoing the admission examination. A heroic girl with waist-length hair, light red hair, source glasses on her face, and a fiery red scabbard in her hand turned her head and looked in the direction where Chen Wei disappeared. "What's wrong, Myatong?" Luo Weiyu, an associate professor of Chihuahua University, whose strength reached the 7th level epic, asked in a low voice. I sensed it, after noticing that the active power of the extreme phoenix on the source star had turned from dynamic to static. Wang Myatong stood there in a daze. Hearing this, Luo Weiyu's beautiful eyes widened, and a solemn expression instantly appeared on her face. She did not continue to question Myatong, but subconsciously looked at the space ripples in the distance that had not yet dissipated, with a thoughtful look in her eyes. It's interesting that you can use instant teleportation in Zidane University and cause Myatong to sense it. According to the information Luo Weiyu has, among the top 3 geniuses on the Ziwei list, only Chen Wei, who has recently become famous throughout the country, has a space-type pet. In addition, Luo Weiyu, a teacher at Zidane University who has a space-related pet, has also had contact with most of them. The identity of the prodigy just now is naturally self-evident. However, what surprised her was that Wang Myatong, who possessed the power of the extreme phoenix, would only be able to sense the beast masters who possessed the talent of the extreme phoenix power, while Chen Wei's innate talent was the spiritual eye talent that evolved from the transformation of identification. Dong dong dong, come in. As Han Jiao's voice fell, Chen Wei pushed open the door of the office and walked in. Very good, in just half a month, you have already mastered the pure world true flame. Looking at the aura of the flame crystal core emanating from Chen Wei, Han Jiao couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. But the Buddha Beast Refining Tower is about to open. You can stop practicing the pure world true flame method first and focus your time on the improvement of the source star. Teacher, is it because of the Buddha Beast Refining Tower? Chen Wei asked hurriedly. That's right. The Futu Beast Refining Tower is a legendary treasure left by the first generation of the principal. It is only open for half a year each year. It can create a virtual world to quickly hone the cultivation speed, combat experience, skills and mental strength of students and pets. With your current 4th order late stage source star cultivation, if you want to upgrade to the 5th order, it will take at least 2 years, but if you practice in the Futu Beast Refining Tower, you only need half a year, or even 3 months, Han Jiao said bluntly. Hearing this, Chen Wei's eyes lit up. No wonder the old students on the Ziwei list have such high source star cultivation. It turns out that there is a plugin like the Futu Beast Refining Tower. Since the cultivation acceleration effect of the Beast Refining Tower is so good, why doesn't the school open it all the time? Chen Wei asked in confusion. Legendary treasures like the Futu Beast Refining Tower require a huge amount of resources and source power every time it is opened. It is already good for Zidane University to be open for half a year. Han Jiao glanced at Chen Wei. Chapter 429 officially opens. If you want to speed up the cultivation of Yuangsing, the training room on the 9th floor of the Futu Beast Refining Tower is a good choice, Han Jiao suggested. The fees on the 9th floor are too expensive, and students may not be able to afford it. Chen Wei looked embarrassed. As far as he knew, when the Futu Beast Refining Tower was opened last time, the fee for the training room on the 1st floor was 500 credits a day, and the higher the floor, the more credits would be required. The fee for the training room on the 9th floor was directly as high as 5,000 credits a day. You know, Chen Wei is now the first on the 2 lists, and the credit rewards for the 2 lists combined are only 60,000 credits a month. These 60,000 credits seem a lot, but if you practice on the 9th floor of the Futu Beast Refining Tower, you can only last for 12 days at most. Do you know the ranking competition of the Futu Beast Refining Tower? Han Jiao smiled. Chen Wei blinked his eyes. I know. What do you mean, teacher? You are the face of our Zidane University. I have applied for a privilege for you. Han Jiao smiled slightly. As long as you can meet the 5 college students during the opening of the Futu Refining Beast Tower and rank first, the training room on the 9th floor of the Futu Refining Beast Tower will be open to you for free. Hearing this, Chen Wei's eyes widened with excitement. What does it mean that the training room on the 9th floor of the Futu Refining Beast Tower is open for free? Calculated at 5,000 credits a day, it will take a full 900,000 credits in half a year. This huge amount of credits is even enough to exchange for a legendary resource. I understand, teacher. I must get the first place, Chen Wei said confidently. Very good. In this world, the strong will always get stronger and the weak will get weaker. As long as you can maintain this momentum of who else but me, the 7th level epic will be easy for you. Han Jiao nodded slightly and took out a purple-black jade plate and a bottle of elixir from the star ring. When you reach the top of the beast refining tower, you can use this Buddha token to use the training room on the 9th floor. As for the Huang pill in the bottle, it is my personal reward to you. The evergreen stone milk you and Grau found helped me a lot. Thank you, teacher. Chen Wei's eyes lit up when he saw the information about the pill with his delusion-breaking spiritual eyes. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. In the morning, the Buddha Beast refining tower was officially opened, and a large number of students rushed there, fearing that there would be no vacant training rooms if they were too late. In the Rosewood Square, Chen Wei met all the members of the Zixa Club for the first time. In addition to Zhang Jiao, who he personally recruited, there were 3 more men and 1 woman in the crowd. Hello, President. Looking at the excited new members in front of him, Chen Wei nodded habitually. At first, he was surprised to see the fans of the Beastmasters who were like star chasers, but he got used to it after seeing it more. Thinking of the information of the 4 new members given by Yu Zilmin, Chen Wei couldn't help but give a thumbs up to her work results in his heart. The 4 new members of the Purple Cloud Club are all geniuses in alchemy, but the one who surprised Chen Wei the most was the joining of Shu Xinglan, who is ranked 4th on the Purple Star list. Shu Xinglan is a famous alchemist of the 4 Glory Peak in the alchemy department of Rosewood University. He is a handsome man with deep eyes and a high nose bridge. He wears an alchemist's robe, and there is always a lingering faint scent of medicine on his body, and occasionally a hint of arrogance flashes in his eyes. However, when he sees Chen Wei, the arrogance in his eyes will turn into imperceptible admiration. As for the other 3, they are Tong Ranrun, an early 4 Glory alchemist, Gu Chenghua, a peak 3 Glory alchemist, and Xin Yixiu, a late 3 Glory alchemist. Tong Ranrun is a slender and tall silver-haired girl with twin ponytails. She looks like a girl next door and gives people a gentle feeling. Gu Chenghua's appearance is a bit ordinary. He wears a formal suit and has a hint of nervousness and restraint on his face. Chen Wei can even see the back of his hands that are almost white with nervousness. Standing half a body behind Shu Xinglan was Shen Yixiu, who looked more neutral, but his strong and powerful muscles did not match Chen Wei's impression of an alchemist. Thank you very much for your trust. I believe that with everyone's efforts, our Zixa Club will one day become a first-class alchemy force in Zidin City and even Zidin University. After shaking hands with several new members and encouraging them, Chen Wei finally talked about business. During this period, I plan to compete for the ranking of the Futa Beast Refining Tower and practice in seclusion, so I will not be able to participate in the alchemy guidance of the Zixa Club for about half a year. Hearing this, the eyes of the 4 new members dimmed slightly. They joined the Zixa Club because of Chen Wei, the disciple of a Grand Master Alchemist. If they can't see the president for half a year, it would be the same as not joining the club. Among the 4 people, Shu Xinglan felt the heaviest. There are only 2 senior students in the Zixa Club, he and Lu Kaiyan, and they will graduate in half a year. If he really couldn't see President Chen Wei for half a year, he would probably miss the chance to make further progress. Although the alchemy guidance has stopped, the alchemy gatherings held by the club will continue as usual. I have a 6th grade top grade elixir, Fire Sun Pill, here to serve as a prize. When I come out of retreat, whoever in the club refines the most elixirs will get this Fire Sun Pill, Chen Wei said with a smile. Hearing that the reward for the alchemy gathering was the Fire Sun Pill, the pupils of the alchemists present shrank, and even the old man who was guarding the red sandalwood sacred tree in the distance couldn't help but cast his eyes towards Chen Wei. As expected of Han Jiao's disciple, he is really rich, the old man muttered in his heart. Even if he was an epic master, he was reluctant to give away a Fire Sun Pill all at once. President, this is serious. Shu Xinglan excitedly stepped forward a few steps. In addition to the president, the only 5 Yao alchemist of Zixa Club was Lu Kaiyan. Although he is a top-level alchemist, if he focuses on refining 4th-level pills, he will not necessarily lose to Lu Kaiyan. After all, the president said that the competition is not only about the level of pill refining, but also the number of pills. Seeing this, Lu Kaiyan on the side also looked at his senior brother with expectation. Huang pill is a top-grade pill that many alchemists dream of. One pill can greatly improve the compatibility of fire-type pets with fire attribute source power and the ability to control flames, making Yao Yan, who is already as easy to control as an arm, even easier to control. Fire-type pets can only take Huang pill once in their lifetime. Her pet Daoin Ho dog has already taken it once and cannot take it again. But if there is a chance to get such a priceless top-grade pill, Liu Kaiyan will certainly not miss it easily. Of course, it's just one Huang pill, Chen Wei replied confidently. In order to collect enough Danqi, necessary expenses are necessary. Anyway, he doesn't need to be present. Yu Tong can also borrow a small part of the power of Pahun Ling Mao through the beast control contract to absorb Danqi. However, without him taking the lead before, members of the Zixia Society basically would not gather together to make elixirs. Chapter 430, Boda Ranking. Wu Sixi and Wu Yaojin looked at each other with envy. They also wanted the Huang pill, but with the level of the second-level alchemist, it was difficult to compete with the 4th-level and 5th-level alchemists in the association. The Beast Refining Tower is officially open today. In order to enhance mutual understanding among everyone, we will go to the Purple Star realm of the Futa Beast Refining Tower to hold a medicine refining party. Chen Wei glanced at the members present. In addition to the challenges and tests, the Futa Beast Refining Tower also has a variety of paid items such as Source Star Cultivation, Medicine Refining Cultivation, Instrument Refining Cultivation, and Spiritual Cultivation. Among them, the Purple Star Realm in the Beast Refining Tower is a small virtual world that helps alchemists improve their medicine refining skills. Depending on the level of the spiritual medicine that is materialized, the credits required for each person are also completely different. Long live the president! Wu Sixi raised her arms enthusiastically. Freshmen don't have many credits to begin with, and they usually have to spend credits to rent pet training grounds and ask teachers for knowledge. Credits can be said to be less and less as they use them, and they can't save them at all. For example, Wu Sixi only has a few thousand credits now, and even if he spends them all, he can only stay in the Purple Star Realm for 7 or 8 days. Only senior students who are in their 3rd year or above have plenty of time to prepare for the opening of the Beast Refining Tower and collect a large number of credits in advance. This also leads to the fact that the main consumer force of the Futa Beast Refining Tower has always been senior students. Unless the freshmen have a particularly strong background and can trade high-value beast controller resources to senior students for credits, even if they are the first freshmen, they can only stay in the Beast Refining Tower for a month. Although there are many clubs in Zidian University, there are only a handful of clubs that are willing to spend credits to let members enter the Beast Refining Tower. Yu Zilman tilted her head and looked at Chen Wei. There are currently 11 formal members of the Zixia Club and 25 alternate members. Even if the alternate members who are not present are excluded, and only the formal members are brought into the Purple Star Realm of the Beast Refining Tower, this trip will consume at least tens of thousands of credits. Chen Wei, as long as everyone has fun, the Zixia Club will open up a contribution value system based on the club's business situation. As long as everyone refines pills in the club and hands in a certain amount of pills, they can get a proper amount of contribution points, which can be used to exchange for credits, pills, pill recipes and other resources in the club. Hearing this explosive news, Liu Kaiyan and Shu Xinglin's pupils shrank, and they looked at Chen Wei with a bit of doubt. Good guy. It seems that Chen Wei is really trusted by Teacher Han. Master Han, as the rumors say, otherwise a genius from a 3rd-level city would not have enough beast controller resources to build a prototype of a force. Sure enough, my choice to join the Zixia Club is the right choice. Shen Yixiu clenched his fists, and a flash of joy in his eyes. In the Zixia Club, except for Vice President Yu Zilman, his family background is the most ordinary. If he can't find a strong enough force to rely on in the future, with his talent, he will have to spend at least 10 years or even decades to try to break through the 6th-level king. Among the many beast control forces, Shen Yixiu chose the Zixia Club. Rather than serving the second-rate beast control power of Zitan City as a dog for his whole life, he would rather submit to Chen Wei, who is stronger and has infinite potential. Let's go there early to grab a good position. Chen Wei patted Kai Ling on his wrist. A majestic dragon power burst out, and under the envious eyes of Zixia members, Kai Ling quickly recovered to its original size at a speed visible to the naked eye, and then carried Chen Wei on the dragon's back. Everyone come closer, it's faster to use instant teleportation. Chen Wei stroked Kai Ling with his hand, who looked a little reluctant. Awesome. Looking at the terrifying Kai Ling in front of her, Wu Yaojin couldn't help swallowing her throat. According to the beast control illustrations, her pet Xingguang Xinglin is of the same race as Kongming Shuangjiao, both of which are transcendent leaders. But judging from the aura they exude, the strength of the two is actually very different, as if they are out of reach like a sky barrier. Is this a dragon? Wu Yaojin timidly stretched out her palm and touched Kei Ling's warm dragon scales, her eyes full of envy and longing. Yin, as Kei Ling let out a dragon's roar, Wu Yaojin suddenly felt a chill coming from afar. She glanced at her companions who were ready beside her, smiled awkwardly to cover up her gaffe, and then quickly retracted her palm. Buzz, glancing at Wu Yaojin, Kei Ling's eyes flashed with silver light, and a faint spatial ripple instantly teleported everyone around her away. The Buddha Refining Beast Tower is located at the entrance of the Rosewood Mountains. Teachers and students who enter and leave the Rosewood Mountains on weekdays can see this towering giant tower with a black body and a simple appearance. As the school's senior leaders spent huge resources to start the Beast Refining Tower for preheating, the black lines on the surface of the tower began to move, and huge screens suddenly appeared, showing the challenge rankings of the Buddha world from ancient times to the present. At the top of the screen ranking, a name that has suppressed the beasts in the era and has not been surpassed by anyone so far, and has been at the top of the list for 10,000 years, immediately attracted the attention of most freshmen. Emperor Qin was once a student of Rosewood University, and he even made it through the 9th world of the Buddha realm, a freshman said in disbelief. He thought Emperor Qin was an unattainable historical legend, but now history has entered reality, and Emperor Qin is actually his senior. Tisk, you are surprised by what you have never seen before. An old student of Rosewood University glanced at him speechlessly, and then looked at a sparsely populated open space in front of the Beast Refining Tower, with a hint of fear in his eyes. There were obviously many empty spaces in that area, but few students dared to go over and line up. Because the crowd occupying the open space was either the famous and powerful club forces of Rosewood University, or the powerful beastmasters from the other 4 famous schools who came to use the training room of the Beast Refining Tower to compete for rankings. At this moment, a space ripple flashed, and Chen Wei brought the Ziksha members to the ground not far from the Buddha Beast Refining Tower. The Ziksha Society's people are here. That's the legendary strongest freshman, Chen Wei, who ranks first on both lists. He's really impressive. Seeing the appearance of Chen Wei and his group, the students crowded in front of the Beast Refining Tower quickly made way for an empty path, and even the noisy sounds disappeared a lot. The strangeness of the crowd instantly attracted the attention of exchange students from the 4 prestigious universities and some leaders of community forces. Is he Chen Wei? He looks just average, not as good as the senior brother at all. In the crowd of Genshin University, a big man with a dark face, thick eyebrows, and a mouthful of particularly eye-catching white teeth curled his lips. If you can't speak, shut up. The leader of Genshin University, Rong Zhang, who topped a mountain moving list, glared at his junior brother fiercely. Chapter 431, 10,000 men are not as good as a man. Strong and stupid, this is Rong Zhang's evaluation of his junior. Although the 4 famous schools have recently been laughing at Zidane University for having no one, and the freshman who just enrolled won the honor of the first place in the 2 lists, everyone actually knows how strong Han Wu Guang, who has been at the top of the Zhuyi list for many years, is. And Chen Wei was able to suppress Han Wu Guang and win the first place at the age of 19. It is not an exaggeration to say that he is a rare monster in 1,000 years. You have to know that it is now the 1027th year of the star calendar, an era when beast-taming geniuses emerge in an endless stream. Chen Wei is able to occupy this title of 1,000 years. It is conceivable that the leadership of the Donghu Kingdom Beast-Taming Association values him. As a result, you, a boy with thick eyebrows and big eyes, keep saying that Chen Wei is not as good as me. Are you flattering me or are you flattering me to death? The sedan chair is carried by people. If it was said privately, Rong Zhang would not take the flattery of his junior seriously, but in front of everyone, he did not dare to admit it shamelessly, so as not to be ridiculed. Nowadays, all beastmasters with a little bit of brains know that unless Chen Wei dies midway, no matter how jealous they are, they should hide it, and it is best to befriend this rising star. But this damn junior brother is so good that he directly helps his senior brother to increase his hatred. Hearing Rong Zhang's reproach, the thick-browed junior brother showed a trace of imperceptible disappointment in his eyes. We are borrowing the Beast Refining Tower of Rosewood University this time. As a guest, you should be humble and gentle. I don't want to hear such words again, do you understand? Rong Zhang said righteously. The thick-browed junior brother showed an expression of understanding and nodded slightly, but cursed in his heart. Last year, you looked down on everything, but this year you are humble and gentle. You are really a guy who changes with the wind. It's a pity that I didn't find a chance for you to face Chen Wei today. Don't make trouble. When I top the few-to list, the facts will prove everything." Seeing that the junior brother was a little dissatisfied, Rong Xiang advised worriedly. "Huh?" Looking at the group of exchange students from Zhejiang University who were walking towards Chen Wei with great momentum, Rong Xiang showed some doubt on his face. "No way, there are really brainless beastmasters in the 5 universities of Donghua." The exchange students from Jinhua University and Liushu University, who were entrenched on the other side, also turned their attention to the meeting between Chen Wei and Zhejiang University. "What's the matter?" Feeling the gradually approaching scorching heat, Chen Wei narrowed his eyes slightly and spoke in a very calm voice. "I have heard of your name for a long time, Tai Dansong from Zhejiang University. I am not talented, but I would like to ask the top of the Zui list to give me some advice." Suddenly, among the fat and thin girls, a woman with slightly curly long hair, a flame mark on her smooth forehead, and a charming figure walked out. Seeing that there was something exciting to watch, the students who were originally crowded in front of the beast refining tower looked at Chen Wei one after another. "There's a good show to watch." Many students who were afraid of chaos in the world smiled. "Sorry, I have limited time." Chen Wei looked at the woman in front of him who was full of fighting spirit and refused decisively. "The beast refining tower is about to open. It's not easy to have a club gathering. He doesn't want to waste time fighting against the weak." Tai Dansong was slightly startled. She didn't expect Chen Wei to choose to refuse. Although she doesn't pay attention to her appearance, because of her beautiful face and figure, no boy in Zhejiang University has ever refused her request. After a subtle glance at Wang Miatuang, Tai Dansong's heart was ruthless and she pretended to show a hint of disdain. "Don't dare, or is it just a false name?" Hearing this sarcastic remark, Rong Xiang blinked in disbelief. He had a lot of contact with Tai Danzhen and knew that Tai Danzhen was a cautious and intelligent woman. This matter must be instigated by someone, otherwise, with Tai Danzhen's character, she would never rashly offend Chen Wei, even if she was backed by the Wang family and was not afraid of a talented beastmaster. "Didn't you hear what our president said? This is not a battlefield. If you want to find someone to teach you, spend your credits and go to the training ground to seek help from your instructor." Shen Yixiu stepped forward. "If you continue to speak rudely, don't blame me for bullying a girl." Shen Yixiu placed his fingertips on the star ring. In his opinion, this was a great opportunity to show his loyalty to the president. Shen Yixiu, looking at this muscular member, Chen Wei's eyes moved, and his information instantly appeared in his mind. Shen Yixiu, the monitor of the 4th grade class of the beast taming department, was in the middle stage of the 4th level of the Source Star. He was the person with the highest Source Star cultivation in the Zixia Club except for himself, and the most powerful existence. Even Xu Xinglan, a peak alchemist of the 4 Glory, was 1 level lower than him in terms of Source Star cultivation, that is, his medicine refining level was a little weak. The awakened innate talent was still the physical strengthening. 10,000 men are not as good as it is, which could increase the physical strength of the pet by 1 or 2 levels in a short period of time. With this enhanced talent, Shen Yixiu currently ranks 25th on the Zui list. He is also a talented person that many major forces desire. The only shortcoming is that his alchemy skills are a bit weak. "Who are you?" Tai Danzhen's eyes turned cold, and the surging source power gushed out from her enchanting body. The powerful momentum even made the students watching from a distance let out a cry. "If you want to make trouble, I will accompany you to the end." Shen Yixiu's eyes did not show weakness, and an equally fascinating source power surged around him. "This is the beast refining tower, don't let people laugh at you." Chen Wei stretched out his hand to stop Shen Yixiu. Seeing this, Shen Yixiu took a few steps back, looking like he was following Chen Wei. Chen Wei glanced at the time. At this time, there were still 10 minutes before the beast refining tower opened. That should be enough time. Chen Wei thought for a while and said, "Not every cat or dog is worth my effort. It's easy to get me to teach you. You first defeat my members. There's a battlefield 500 meters away." "Meow, are you calling me?" At this time, Yu Tuang opened her sleepy eyes and tilted her head to look at Chen Wei. "No, you should sleep well," Chen Wei conveyed his thoughts. Tai Danzhen smiled slightly when he heard this. "Of course, if I can't even beat your men, I don't have the face to ask you for advice. Who do you think will win?" Looking at the 2 people standing on the battle stage, Chen Wei said calmly. Tai Danzhen ranks 18th in the Lihuang list of Zhejiang University. If we count by ranking, Shen Yixiu's chance of winning is not great, Yu Zilman's face was solemn. After all, this was the first battle since the establishment of Zixa Club. If they lost to other people in the school, it would be fine. If they lost to the other 4 students, it would probably bring a lot of damage to the reputation of Zixa Club. It's okay, as long as I am here, Zixa Club will be there. Seeing Yu Zilman's anxious eyes, Chen Wei subconsciously patted her on the shoulder. To create a force, it is necessary to select subordinates with sufficient ability and loyalty from the team. Since Shen Yixia wants to have a chance to stand out in Zixa Club, why not give him a chance? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 432, Heavenly Star Phoenix. The battle will be over soon. Glancing at the sturdy man opposite, Tai Dansun's star ring flickered. As the dazzling white rune array appeared, a fierce-looking, flame-marked beast with black feathers, a long, pointed red beak, a burning flame on its neck, and a faint emerald-green luster on its slender lower limb suddenly appeared. Pet name, Azure Meteorite Flame Pigeon. Pet attributes, Fire, Wood. Racial level, Brilliant King. Strength level, Upper level 4. Racial skills, Azure Meteorite Wood Flame, Meteorite Wings, Light Blade, Group Flamestorm. King's Pressure. A peak of the upper level 4 Azure Meteorite Flame Pigeon. This strength is enough to rank in the top 15 on the Ziwei ranking. No wonder it is used as a chess piece. Looking at the mighty Azure Meteorite Flame Pigeon on the stage, Chen Wei's eyes moved slightly, and his gaze was cast on the other side of the arena. The heroic girl with a unique temperament asked softly, "Do you know her identity?" Yu Zilman followed Chen Wei's line of sight, with a hint of envy in her eyes. "If I'm not mistaken, she should be the Students' Union president of Chihuang University, the top of the Lihuang ranking, and the top genius Wang Miatong who has been blessed by the legendary emperor, Xiangxing Luanhong." Xiangxing Luanhong. Chen Wei frowned slightly. As far as he knew, the Sky Star Phoenix was the imperial beast of the first-level city Yandu. It had the strength of the 8th-level peak and was the closest to immortality in the eyes of countless fire beast masters. Although the beast master of the Sky Star Phoenix, Wang Yinan, had long since died when the Donghu Kingdom changed its calendar, it still maintained the will of the beast master and remained close to humans. Even every 5 to 10 years, the Sky Star Phoenix would hold a large-scale Sky Phoenix blessing ceremony throughout the Nanhuang province. Over the years, the Yandu City Beast Master Association has also discovered a pattern. Unless a Fire Beast Master who can receive the blessing of the Sky Phoenix in the grand event dies halfway, he can at least become an Epic Master. A future Epic Master, no wonder the people around her are extremely respectful to her, and even have a sense of obedience, Chen Wei thought to himself. At this time, perhaps noticing Chen Wei's gaze, Wang Miatong smiled confidently and generously at him. Seeing this, Chen Wei did not look away, but nodded slightly. Although Shen Yixiu's chances of winning this battle were slim, he actually didn't care about winning or losing. He only cared about whether Shen Yixiu was worth training. After all, Chen Wei's main purpose of developing power was to collect Enki and beast resources to quickly enhance his own strength, rather than wasting time and energy on people without potential. A 4th-level king race, on the battle stage, Shen Yixiu's heart sank when he used the energy glasses to identify the information of the green meteorite flame peer. Although the pets of the king race are extremely precious, the students who can enter Zidin University are all favored by heaven. As long as they are willing to spend favors and resources, they can still obtain a king pet cut through various channels. When Shen Yixiu was a junior, he spent a huge amount of credits to buy a king race, Thunder Horse, cub from a classmate's family. However, the growth period of the king cub is quite long. If the beast master does not spend enough training resources, it is difficult to quickly improve the strength of the king pet in 1 or 2 years. Therefore, the strongest pet under Shen Yixiu's command is still the original pet that has accompanied him for many years. "Are you still not going to summon a pet?" Looking at the opponent with a solemn face, Tai Dansun said in a deep voice. The task she accepted this time was to try her best to let Chen Wei, the top of the Ziwei ranking, release his innate talent, but she didn't have much time to waste on an insignificant person. "Thank you for your hard work, old friend." Shen Yixiu exhaled lightly, and the star ring between his fingers burst into white light. On a thick summoning symbol array, A red ape about 4 meters tall, with sparse facial hair and burning flames all over his body suddenly appeared on the battle stage. What a familiar pet! Chen Wei looked at the red ape on the ring, and a light flashed in his eyes, and his talent was activated. Pet name, immovable red ape. Pet attributes, gold, fire, racial level, transcendent commander, strength level, 4th order middle, racial skills, immovable as a mountain, violent as fire, red flame candle sky, blazing flame true gold, molten gold body. Isn't this the pet I beat? Kei Ling, who was not interested in the battle, immediately raised her head and recalled a battle that she had not enjoyed to the fullest. This is not the same one. Chen Wei touched Kei Ling's head and smiled. The immovable red ape that controls and masters the power in its body, coupled with Shen Yixiu's incomparable strengthening talent, this battle may be worth watching. Hearing this, Kei Ling's eyes flashed with spiritual power. After noticing the weak power in the immovable red ape, she yawned out of boredom. This red ape is too weak. Hearing Kei Ling's words of disdain, Chen Wei ignored it and silently watched the battle that broke out on the battle stage with the nervous team members beside him. Group Flamestorm. In order to make a quick decision, Tai Danson decisively ordered the green meteorite flame pigeon to burst out with all its strength. Boom! With a loud bang, the emerald green flames from the wings of the azure meteorite flame pigeon continued to explode and converge into a large-scale firestorm. Under its urging, the firestorm emitting terrifying high temperatures completely enveloped the approaching immovable red ape at lightning speed. The next second, the flames shot up into the sky, and the immovable red ape's body, which was like a diamond, actually showed traces of charred black. Under the observation of Chen Wei's delusion-breaking spiritual eyes, the immovable red ape stomped its feet on the ground, and while being burned by the flames, it endured the severe pain, and rushed towards the azure meteorite flame pigeon in the sky with an unstoppable momentum like a burning fireball. This is not a wise move. It is extremely difficult for the immovable red ape, which cannot fly, to change direction in the air, and it is easy for the flame pigeon to attack it as much as it wants. Chen Wei frowned slightly. Obviously, Tai Danson on the ring also had the same idea as Chen Wei. The wings of the jade meteorite flame pigeon spread out and flew through the air at high speed. The sharp blades formed by the flames, under the power of the jade meteorite wood flame, hit the immovable red ape that was moving in a straight line. In an instant, a series of extremely spectacular fireworks broke out in the sky above the battle stage. Even if the immovable red ape is a fire-type pet and has a strong immunity to fire-type skills, it will at least consume most of its physical strength under this series of attacks, and even enter a state of serious injury and near death. Funnily enough, looking at the severely injured and scarred immovable red ape, whose hair was mostly burned by the jade meteorite wood flame, Shen Yixiu's eyes condensed and his attention became more focused. Chapter 433, One Strike and a Defeat. There was only one chance to counterattack now. If this crucial blow missed, and the jade meteorite flame pigeon could not lose its ability to resist, the immovable red ape, who was not good at aerial combat, would only end up defeated. It's time to end. Tai Danson saw a hint of impatience in Wang Miatong's eyes from the corner of his eye, and his heart tightened. Meteoric blade. As Tai Danson's order fell, the emerald green flames wrapped around the jade meteorite flame pigeon's wings suddenly became more powerful. A terrifying high temperature that seemed to be able to burn everything swept the entire venue, and even made many students who were watching the excitement on the sidelines become dry-mouthed. Now, sensing the opportunity, Shen Yixiu decisively commanded the immovable red ape to launch the final attack. Immovable as a mountain, 10,000 men cannot resist, cause and effect flame wheel. The trend of this battle was exactly the same as the plan he had constructed in his mind. First, using immovable as a mountain to let the red ape completely bear all the damage of the fire skills, and then using the cause and effect flame wheel to explode the accumulated damage in the body with several times, or even dozens of times the power in an instant. This terrifying blow that could instantly reverse the situation was the reason why Shen Yixiu was ranked 25th on the Zhuyi ranking. Upon hearing this, the immovable red ape clenched his fists, and as a golden light swirled around, the muscles of his entire body expanded at a speed visible to the naked eye. The blazing flames on his body instantly ignited the battlefield, which had already reached an extreme temperature. After this trembling and vast aura appeared, Tai Danson subconsciously widened her eyes. Stop it! The green meteorite flame crow let out a sharp cry, and the brewing meteorite blades burst out from its wings crazily. The terrifying flame blades that were enough to burn financial stones could cause waves in the void even if they just passed through the air. Go for it, Chen Yixiu's eyes flashed fiercely, without the slightest hesitation. Under the terrifying blessing of the cause and effect flame wheel, all the damage it had received before became the power of the immovable golden ape, and its speed soared again. The next moment, under the astonished eyes of the green meteorite flame, a fist carrying a terrifying golden flame that made it feel deadly danger suddenly came into view. Boom! The deafening explosion that made people's scalps numb resounded through the sky. Like a cannon plowing the land, the solid and thick ground on the battle stage cracked and collapsed, and the gravel and soil covering the sky and the sun splashed everywhere. The strong shock wave even made the defense shield on the battle stage shaky. Who won? Seeing this shocking scene of sudden reversal, the audience present was filled with strong curiosity. If Chen Yixiu, who was ranked 25th on the Purple Star list, could defeat Tai Danzhong, who was ranked 18th on the Fiery Phoenix list, wouldn't it be a little proof that the beast-taming battle list of Zidane University was more valuable than that of Chihuahua University? It's a pity. One step behind, Chen Wei suddenly said. Hearing this, the members of the Purple Cloud Club flashed a trace of disappointment in their eyes. It seems that Chen Yixiu lost in the end. Soon, as the smoke and dust gradually dissipated, a dormant red ape, exhausted and in a coma, and a slightly trembling jadeite flame roe were lying on the ground of the battlefield. We almost won, Chen Yixiu showed a bit of unwillingness on his face. Then he quickly walked to the side of the red ape and summoned a plant-type pet, flower stamen lotus cat, with slightly yellow hair, a lotus leaf on its head, and various green plants growing on its tail for preliminary treatment. Sorry, President, I failed. Looking at Chen Wei who walked onto the ring, Chen Yixiu's tone was a bit bitter. He failed in his first fight for the president and left the impression of a loser. This was a heavy blow to him. It's not bad to be able to do this, Chen Wei patted his shoulder. The difference in the normal energy value between the red ape and the jadeite flame roe was nearly 4,000, and the gap in strength was huge. Being able to fight to this extent has proved Chen Yixiu's ability. If Tai Danzhong hadn't reacted at the critical moment and activated her innate talent in time to reverse the situation, the outcome of the battle would still be uncertain. Do you need to rest for a while or change your pet? Chen Wei pointed at the panting Biao Nianju. 1 minute is enough. After that, Tai Danzhong fed Biao Nianju a pill full of vitality. Then, she looked at Chen Wei who was standing there and asked in confusion, "Where's your pet?" Chen Wei glanced at the colorful spirit on her wrist and saw that she was not interested, so she raised her arm. "I don't need to summon a pet to deal with Biao Nianju, just one hand is enough." Hearing this, the audience was in an uproar. There are many geniuses in this world, but this is the first time they have seen such an arrogant beastmaster like Chen Wei. Tai Danzhong's face turned cold, the source power in her body burst out, the light pink pupils quietly changed, and a beautiful flame slowly emerged. It's ridiculous. Even a young lady can't necessarily defeat the azure meteorite flame pigeon with one hand. Feeling that she was being looked down upon, Tai Danzhong simply burst out with all her strength. Talent, first bright flame flower. It can allow the source power in the Beastmaster's body to be shared with a pet, and make the first bright flame flower bloom completely, increasing the pet's strength several times in a short period of time. It is an extremely rare strengthening talent. However, Chen Wei, who had already seen through Tai Danzhong's talent with his delusion-breaking spiritual eyes, remained calm. Seeing that Chen Wei still did not change his expression, Tai Danzhong's eyes flashed with anger, ready to prove her strength with actual actions. Meteorite wings. With a loud cry, the azure meteorite flame pigeon appeared in front of Chen Wei in a flash, and a dazzling green flame accurately bombarded his arm. Then, a scene that made everyone incredible and even shocked their eyes appeared. Chen Wei seemed to casually turn around to avoid the attack of the green meteorite flame pigeon, raised his right fist, and the light golden flames burst out with great power, and then hit the body of the green meteorite flame pigeon heavily. Fire fist. The light and flames were thousands of feet high, and the terrifying power instantly broke the surface defense of the green meteorite flame pigeon, and even set off a violent shock wave like a firestorm on the platform. Seeing this, Kailing's eyes flashed, and an invisible telekinetic defense shield instantly annihilated the crazy shock wave. How is it possible? Looking at the green meteorite flame pigeon who had no power to resist in the hands of the president, Chen Yixiu's heart couldn't help but beat rapidly. The audience present, some of the 5 exchange students who wanted to see Chen Wei's strength, couldn't help but widen their eyes. Where is the Jialong? How comes it in university, as a beast-taming university, admitted a physical cultivator with superb cultivation and made him the top of the Zui ranking? This is completely different from what is recorded in the data. It's okay, the time is just right, and it won't be late for the opening of the beast refining tower. Chen Wei glanced at his phone, and regardless of Tai Dansun's ugly face, he turned around and walked off the stage. Although the fire fist was destructive, his power was controlled very carefully, and the green meteorite flame pigeon was only seriously injured at most. Chapter 434 Entering the Beast Refining Tower. The president's physical strength is so strong, Tong Ranran whispered. With her vision, she could naturally see that the key to President Chen Wei's victory or defeat was not the fancy flames, but the unstoppable terrifying power. That was a force that the fourth-level elite beasts could not resist at all. The three unique skills of beast control, medicine refining, and physical cultivation. The president is really... Shu Xinglan smiled bitterly and shook his head, without saying the second half of the sentence. After all, as a member of the club, he couldn't say that his boss was a complete monster. Let's go. Don't miss the opening of the beast refining tower. Ignoring the astonished eyes of the students around him, Chen Wei put his hands in his pockets, walked in front of the team, and walked towards the entrance of the Fu-2 beast refining tower not far away. When the audience saw Chen Wei leading his men away, the originally quiet battlefield was filled with heated discussions again. It's only been a short time, but Senior Chen Wei's strength is getting stronger and stronger at such a terrifying speed. When he faced Yuan Xinghu and Gu Zuyi in the entrance ranking match, he had to summon his pet to fight against them, but now he only needs one iron fist to defeat Tai Dansun on the Li Hurong list. Senior. If I remember correctly, you are a student in the second class of beast taming in the third year. Are you pretending to be young here? Besides, Zidane University is a beast taming university, and only pets can compete in the entrance ranking match. You don't even know the rules. The teacher is the wisest. As Senior Chen Wei is the top of the Zui list, there is nothing wrong with me calling him senior. I'm sure that Senior Chen Wei will be the champion of the National Beast Taming University Battle Conference in the future. Impossible. The champion of the National Beast Taming University next year will definitely be Shu Hai's from Jinhua University. An exchange student from Jinhua University heard the words of Chen Wei's fans and immediately couldn't help but refute. Shu Hai's is at the peak of the 5th level, and he is only one step away from becoming a 6th-level king. His strength is indeed quite strong, but Senior Chen Wei is best at fighting across levels. He may not be able to win the championship next year, but when Shu Hai's graduates, Senior Chen Wei will definitely be the champion for the next 4 years. Upon hearing this, the exchange student from Jinhua University was speechless, not knowing how to refute. Did you see it clearly? On the other side, Luo Weiyu, the leader of the Chihurong University, tilted her head and looked at Wang Maitong, her voice barely perceptible. In her opinion, there are many ways to contact and test Chen Wei, but Wang Maitong chose to use this simple, brainless, and even offensive way to test him, which was really unwise. But there was no way, she couldn't beat Wang Maitong, and finally compromised and sent Tai Dansun to test him. I saw it clearly. It was not because of my talent as I expected, but because of the source of his life, Wang Maitong said with some surprise. Wang Maitong had received the blessing of the Heavenly Phoenix from the Heavenly Star Phoenix and witnessed the Heavenly Star Phoenix flame that could destroy the heavens and the earth. However, even the legendary Emperor Flame with such terrifying power could not make her innate talent, Extreme Phoenix Nirvana, produce any response. According to the family inheritance records, the only thing that can cause the fluctuation of the power of the Extreme Phoenix is the heavenly grade innate talent, Chaoyong Danfeng, that has not appeared in the Feng family for thousands of years. There is no other possibility. And today, she found the only exception. Teacher Luo, do you know the information of the fire-type pet beast contracted by Chen Wei? Wang Maitong suddenly asked. Hanjia Io's signature secret method is the red cloud flame formation diagram. As her disciple, it is normal for Chen Wei to master the ability to control fire. The only thing that makes Wang Maitong feel strange is what level of flame can cause the fluctuation of the power of the Extreme Phoenix. Is it a legend? Or immortality above legend? It should be the Destiny Dragon Doll, a new evolutionary form of the Titanium Crystal Doll. Although there is very little specific information about this fire-type pet, based on the data obtained from the school's appraisal, one thing is certain, the race level of the Destiny Dragon Doll should be above the King race, and there is a certain probability that it is a heaven-level overlord race, At this point, Luo Weiyu took out a piece of information from the star ring and handed it to Wang Miatong. Heaven-level overlord race? Wang Miatong frowned slightly. Such a race level is very different from her psychological expectations, but it is very reasonable. After all, it is basically impossible for a 4th-level Beastmaster to sign a contract with an Emperor race. Maybe she thought too much? The source of Chen Wei's peculiar life source fire has nothing to do with a contracted pet, but it has something to do with Hanzhou Iao. Thinking of this, Wang Miatong's interest in Chen Wei disappeared. However, before she figured out the matter, she would not give up investigating Chen Wei. Hanzhou Iao is not an existence that can be easily messed with. Don't mess around, Luo Weiyu warned. Well, I understand. Wang Miatong tilted her head to look at Tai Danzan, who looked disappointed and seemed to be hit hard, and smiled and comforted her. Thank you for your hard work. Go and get a purple spirit heart pill from Sister Yu later, and tell her that it was my idea. Tai Danzan, who thought that the mission had failed, had a flash of surprise in her eyes, and hurriedly thanked her. Dong dong, as the boundary bell on the top of the Fu-Tu Beast refining tower rang, a vicissitudes of life and a majestic old man's voice suddenly spread throughout the entire Red Sandalwood University campus, and even spread to the distant Red Sandalwood Mountains. Fu-Tu Beast refining begins. Boom, the earth began to shake, and a dark and deep black hole suddenly appeared above the Beast refining tower. The source power that permeated the world poured into it at a terrifying speed, and even formed a materialized source power funnel storm. The source power storm only lasted for a quarter of an hour. After the swallowing was completed, the tightly closed tower door of the Beast refining tower slowly rose in the expectant eyes of everyone. Seeing this, the students waiting on the side summoned their pets and rushed to the Beast refining tower impatiently. The Beast refining tower has 9 floors, thousands of meters high. Towering and magnificent, but for some reason, as Chen Wei got closer and closer to the Beast refining tower, Yu Tuang on his shoulder began to nervously grab his clothes, with a look of desire on her face. Meow, degree, there's something on the top of the tower. What is it? Chen Wei paused slightly. Meow, Greek letter omega? I don't know, but it feels very important. Yu Tuang blinked. Chen Wei suppressed his curiosity and walked into the gate of the Beast refining tower with the excited members according to the records. The stars moved, and a white space suddenly entered the field of vision of Chen Wei and his party. Please choose the world to enter, a cold voice suddenly sounded. This was the voice of the spirit of the instrument that presided over the operation of the Beast refining tower. Purple Star Realm? Looking at the big screen in front of him, Chen Wei directly clicked on the 3rd floor of the Purple Star Realm to enter. Unlike the Buddha Realm, which can only enter the next level after successfully passing the level, the Purple Star Realm for alchemists to practice skills can be entered by spending credits. If the credits are enough, even the 9th level of the Purple Star Realm, where the legendary 9 Shining Medicine Saint honed his skills, can be entered. Of course, the huge amount of credits consumed is enough to bankrupt an epic or even legendary powerhouse. Chapter 435, Scarlet Phoenix First. Buzz, the light of transmission fell, and Chen Wei and his party instantly appeared in a spacious alchemy room, where there were a dazzling array of rare alchemy furnaces everywhere. This is the Black Spirit Demon Cauldron, ranked 3,300th on the 10,000 cauldrons list. Yu Xianglu's eyes suddenly lit up. Everyone can move freely, find an alchemy furnace they like, and refine high-level elixirs that they don't have the opportunity to refine normally. Of course, the highest elixir to be refined cannot exceed the 6th level, otherwise you will need to pay for it with your credits, Chen Wei said bluntly. The credits consumed to materialize the 6th level spiritual medicine are extremely high, and his wealth is not enough to bear such a huge expenditure. Understood, everyone nodded hurriedly. Chen Wei nodded slightly, and then stopped in front of a huge alchemy furnace. In addition to the club gathering, this time when he entered the Beast refining tower, he also planned to try to refine the Yinshan pill, one of the 3 treasure pills. Unlike the condensation pill and the key enhancement pill, the medicinal materials for refining the Yinshan pill are difficult to collect. Even if he is in the Beast Taming Mall in Zitan City, it is difficult to buy a complete set of spiritual plants. Moreover, Chen Wei also wanted to test whether the elixir refined by the spirit eye in the illusory world of the Purple Star Realm could be nurtured by the elixir. There was an illusory small screen on the right side of the alchemy furnace. Chen Wei only needed to input the name of the elixir he wanted to refine, and all the medicinal materials of the elixir could be generated in the blink of an eye. Under Chen Wei's control, soon, like a creation in the void, the vibrant spiritual herbs instantly floated in the air. Ling, can you see how the spiritual medicine is generated, touching the spiritual plants with delicate texture and rich medicinal fragrance? Chen Wei subconsciously conveyed his thoughts. The 5th level spiritual skill, psychic mimicry, that Ling learned can also create most of the things she wants in her spiritual world like the creator, but it cannot be so realistically materialized. I can't see it. Ling shook her head. Perhaps because of her low strength, she couldn't see how these herbs were formed at all. Okay, Chen Wei gave up his plan to explore and focused on the refining of the Yingshan pill. Boom, a muffled sound rang out. As expected, the Yingshan pill that Chen Wei concentrated on refining still failed. Looking at the medicine residue left in the pill furnace, Chen Wei's eyes moved slightly. Although activating the creation spirit eye can forcibly improve the quality of the pill, it will also increase the difficulty of refining the pill, which is why he just failed. After the first failure, Chen Wei did not rest, but activated the breaking delusion spirit eye to start the second round of refining. Yingshan pill fragrance. Shu Xinglan wrinkled his nose slightly, and a touch of shock appeared on his face. He couldn't help but tilt his head to look in the direction of the medicine fragrance. Sure enough, President Chen Wei was refining medicine with his pet beast, and the pill was about to be born. Every time I see the president, I feel that my talent is mediocre, Yu Xianglu beside him suddenly said. Don't compare with the president, he is not someone we can catch up with. Shu Xinglan shook his head. If it weren't for investing in Chen Wei's future, with his strength as a 4-glory peak alchemist, he would have been able to do well in any faction he chose. Hey, your pill is mushy. At this moment, Yu Xianglu pointed to the alchemy furnace in front of Shu Xinglan. Ah, my pill. Shu Xinglan's face suddenly changed. Unfortunately, this Yingshan pill cannot be taken, and no Dan Qi is generated. Looking at the round, flawless, and full-colored black pill in the palm of his hand, Chen Wei thought somewhat unsatisfiedly. All the pills refined in the Purple Star realm cannot be taken, which is something that many students have verified. However, Chen Wei was a little skeptical. What if he could absorb the medicinal power? Thinking of this, he threw the pill in his hand directly into his mouth. No effect. Feeling that there was no movement in the source power in his body, a trace of regret flashed in Chen Wei's eyes. Next, Chen Wei tried to refine 3 furnaces of Yingshan pills, 2 of which failed and 1 succeeded, with a success rate of 50%, which can be called a 5-glory late-stage alchemist. Later, he pointed out the habitual mistakes made by Tong Ranrun, Gu Chenghua, Shu Xinglan and Shen Yixiu in their refining techniques during this alchemy gathering, and proposed suggestions for improvement, successfully gaining their trust and gratitude. Time passed quickly, night began to fall, and this gathering had come to an end. In the next 6 months, the Ziksha Club will be handed over to you, Chen Wei instructed. I understand, you practice well, and before that, I will help you manage the Ziksha Club well. Yu Zilman nodded slightly. Seeing that everything was done, Chen Wei took out his student's card and paid to leave. In order to obtain the training room on the 9th floor of the Beast Refining Tower, he must suppress the 5 college students and become the first challenger of this Futa world. Futa Beast Refining Tower, the 1st floor of Futa world. Chen Wei looked at the Futa world ranking information in front of him, and a solemn look appeared in his eyes. Fortunately, the teacher only asked him to get the 1st place in the contemporary era instead of the 1st place in history, otherwise he would not be very sure to compete with Emperor Qin. Chen Wei tapped the screen with his finger to change the filter conditions of the ranking, refreshing a new ranking. Not even a day has passed, and someone has reached the 5th level of the Buddha realm. Chen Wei was a little surprised. The Beastmaster ranked first on the Buddha list is Wang Miatuang from Chehuang University, the heroic woman who seems to be very interested in him. Interesting, Han Wuguang's current progress is only ranked 3rd, Chen Wei murmured. At this moment, the 2nd place above Han Wuguang is Shu Hai's from Jinhua University. Following Han Wuguang in the ranking, the 4th place is Rong Xiang from Genshin University, and the last 10,000-year 5th place is Shui Zai from Liushu University. As for the exchange students from the 8 major academies, they can't even squeeze into the top 10 of the Buddha list. The only one who can enter the top 20 of the list is Long Wenqi from Tenglong College, ranked 12th. Sure enough, compared with the 5 famous schools in Donghua, the students of the 8 major colleges are obviously more than 1 level weaker, and they can't even enter the top 10, Chen Wei sighed. If he had chosen Tenglong Academy, He would not only have missed out on amiable elders like Teacher Han and Senior Sister Tan, but also on legendary pets like Teodi, not to mention the Yuangxing cultivation that was far beyond his expectations. Coming to his senses, Chen Wei chose to immediately start the challenge of the Buddha Realm. The Buddha Realm of the Beast Refining Tower has 9 floors. The difficulty of the random tests varies depending on the strength of the challenger, but the difficulty of each floor will not exceed a certain limit, which is fair in general. The only thing worth complaining about is that if the Beastmaster wants to keep the previous challenge record and does not start the challenge from the first floor again, he needs to pay a high amount of credits to cross the floors. Chapter 436 Nine-Headed Nephew. Because it was Chen Wei's first time to enter the Buddha realm to take the test, he could only start from the first level. After deducting 100 credits, a space channel emitting faint light quietly appeared, and then a subtle mental pressure burst out in the air, trying to sweep over Chen Wei. Seeing this, Kailing's eyes flashed, and the powerful and unmatched mental power instantly condensed into a protective shield that isolated the damage. However, the mental pressure ignored the shielding ability of the protective shield and penetrated directly. Sensing this strange sense of peeping, Chen Wei frowned immediately. Although he did not sense any malice from it, such reconnaissance behavior made him somewhat resistant. Buzz, just as Chen Wei was meditating and running the Taihao Qinglong diagram, trying to protect his spiritual world, a cold voice suddenly sounded in his mind. The Bone Age and Soul are 19 years, the Source Star is in the late 4th stage, and the awakened innate talent is the Earth-level spiritual eye. The talent is excellent, and the Buddha inheritance trial with a higher difficulty can be opened. Please choose whether to open the trial. Hearing this indifferent voice, Chen Wei was slightly startled. What is the Futu inheritance trial? Sensing Chen Wei's doubts, the strange voice sounded again. The Futu inheritance trial has 9 levels, and only challengers with excellent talents can open it. Challengers can get far more generous rewards than the Futu World Challenge for each level of trial they pass. The higher the number of trial levels they pass, the richer the rewards. The first challenger who perfectly passes the 9 levels of trial can gain control of the Futu Beast Refining Tower. Am I the first person to open the trial? Chen Wei said. Even the teacher did not reveal the news of the inheritance trial to him in advance, which means that there are very few Beastmasters who can be rated as having excellent talents by the Beast Refining Tower. You are the 5250th challenger who has opened the Futu inheritance trial in tens of thousands of years. You are currently ranked 5250th. The highest ranked challenger in the history of the trial is Ying Zheng, 8th level. Chen Wei's expression froze. This was not what he expected at all. He originally thought that he was a lucky one in a million who could encounter the legendary opportunity to inherit the Futu Beast Refining Tower. As a result, this qualification seems to be completely open to all, as long as you are a beast-taming genius. Later, Chen Wei, who had reacted, could not help but sigh. Even Emperor Qin is stuck at the 9th level. No wonder the Futu Beast Refining Tower has not found a suitable owner so far. Even Emperor Qin was eliminated. How many beast tamers in this world can be in the eyes of the Beast Refining Tower? Thinking of this, Chen Wei shook his head speechlessly. The historical rankings displayed on this light screen are both bright and dark. The dark names are all familiar to Chen Wei. They are basically beast tamers who have left a great name in the history of Donghu country. And there are also a few familiar names among the names that are still bright and shining. The total historical ranking of the inheritance trial is number 1, Ying Zheng, 8th level, ranked 337, Tan Zuking, 7th level, ranked 450, Hanzhi Liao, 7th level, ranked 3333, Wang Maitong, 4th level, ranked 3455, Shu Zhais, 4th level, ranked 3864, Han Wuguang, 3rd level. Wow, Senior Sister Tan's ranking is actually higher than the teacher. No wonder the teacher didn't even leak a word. Can the inheritance trial's level of clearance replace the level of the Buddha Realm Challenge and enter the Buddha Realm ranking? Chen Wei asked. Yes, because the difficulty of the inheritance trial is much higher than the Buddha Realm Challenge. The level of the Buddha Realm clearance replaced will automatically increase by 2. Hearing this reply, Chen Wei immediately understood the ranking rules. If he wanted to suppress the exchange students of the 5 major universities in Donghua, he didn't need to challenge the Buddha realm, and he could achieve his goal through the inheritance trial. If he could pass the 9th level of the inheritance trial, The ranking of the Buddha realm displayed by the beast refining tower in the outside world would exceed the 10th level of Emperor Qin, and there would be an unprecedented 11th level passer. Please choose to start the inheritance trial or return to the Buddha realm to challenge. Start the inheritance trial? Chen Wei's eyes showed excitement. At this moment, he didn't care about any rewards or beast refining towers. If he could suppress the 5 students of Donghu University and even suppress Emperor Qin, the beast master who is closest to the gods in history, and win the title of the first in the ages, he would create an unstoppable and magnificent trend in the spiritual world, and it would only be a matter of time for him to become a legend in the future, and he might even be able to explore the secret of immortality. The trial begins. Please enter the transmission channel, the indifferent voice sounded. Hearing this, Chen Wei tilted his head to look at his pet, and then strode into the space channel. First level of trial, kill the cub of the ancient beast, 9-headed nephew. When Chen Wei digested the information and opened his eyes, the first thing that caught his eye was a brilliant source gold vein, with a lot of yellow sands floating around in the wind. The brown-yellow hills and the ground also revealed patches of flawless white source crystal jade. Such a rich earth source power, feeling the direction of the flow of the majestic source power between heaven and earth, Chen Wei subconsciously looked at the powerful existence in the distance that swallowed the source power. It was a terrifying beast with a body length of nearly 10 meters, and its body surface was covered with a thick layer of red copper. It was extremely eye-catching in the sun. Whenever the 9 giant tails wrapped in red copper crystals swung slightly, the source gold veins exposed on the ground with half-sharp golden essences swallowed up. Below this huge tail that blocks out the sun, a ferocious lion head is surrounded by 8 smaller but identical lion heads. Each lion head has an extremely sharp golden horn on top. This terrifying 9-headed nephew just lies quietly on the ground and sleeps, but it has a breathtaking pressure that makes people dare not approach. Name of pet, 9-headed nephew. Pet attribute, gold, earth, dragon. Racial level, legendary emperor. Strength level, lower 3rd level. Racial skills, unavoidable gold defense. 9 dragons power, broken golden lion roar. Earth explosion heavy blow. Legendary domain. Pet introduction, a famous emperor alien species in ancient times. It has a solid defense and indestructible claws that cannot be broken by the same level. Because it likes to devour gold, jade and humans, it is also called the fierce beast nephew. The first level of the inheritance trial is to face the lower 3rd level 9-headed cicada. How did they pass it? Chen Wei frowned slightly. Although the 9-headed cicada's strength is only lower 3rd level, the normal source energy value it emits is extremely high, and it can completely tear apart the king race pets below the 6th level, excluding the 6th level. In addition, with the existence of the legendary domain, Han Wuguang's lower 5th level Kingaya Wood Dragon can't even defeat the 9-headed cicada, let alone kill it. There must be something wrong with this 9-headed cicada. Chapter 437 6 Sacred Places. Use teleportation to charge forward, and then use the cold current dragon claw to test its defense. Looking at the sleeping 9-headed lizard nephew in the distance, Chen Wei commanded K Ling to launch an attack. He could even defeat the upper-level black dragon of the 3rd order, so killing a lower-level 9-headed lizard nephew of the 3rd order was no problem. Swish, K Ling's body expanded rapidly, and then crossed the space to appear above the 9-headed lizard nephew. Endless coldness broke out, and a dark blue dragon claw wrapped in frost, carrying the embers of frost, enough to make life wither, attacked the neck of the 9-headed lizard nephew who was in deep sleep and seemed to be defenseless. Just K Ling's tentative attack caused the temperature of the dry and hot earth, which was full of yellow sand, to drop sharply, and even a lot of ice crystals with a biting cold appeared in the air. However, facing this powerful attack, the 9-headed lizard nephew still did not wake up, and actually endured the attack on the spot. Boom, the earth trembled suddenly, and beautiful ice crystals and hot yellow sand flew wildly under the violent explosion of the shock wave. Steam boiled in large quantities and condensed into dark cumulus clouds in the sky. The source gold vein centered on the 9-headed nephew was cracked and collapsed, revealing a dark pit with a diameter of about tens of meters. It hasn't woken up yet. Seeing that the 9-headed nephew was lying on the ground and ignoring the attack, with a look of being beaten, Chen Wei instantly understood the purpose of this trial. Only by trying to break the 9-headed nephew's unavoidable gold defense and killing it completely, can you be qualified to enter the next test. Yin, so hard, K Ling waved her numb dragon claws. She burst out her strength and blasted it with one claw. Even if there was a hill in front of her, she could flatten it, but she couldn't break the defense of this ugly thing. Chen Wei, try using Frost Star Fall. It was not easy to find a target with thick skin and flesh, just in time to test the power of the skills that K Ling released now. You know, the last time he took K Ling to the training room of Zidian University to practice skills, it cost a full 500 credits, of which 50 credits were the rental fee for the training ground, and the other 450 credits were the compensation for K Ling's excessive force and accidentally damaged the training machine. 10 minutes later, the roar that sounded in this yellow sandland gradually subsided. Except for the red copper crystal on the neck of the nine-headed nephew, there were signs of crystal shattering in other places, with varying degrees of severity. Except for the infinite ice tornado, the ice skill Frost Star Fall has the highest damage, and the space mirror crack that is most likely to break the defense of pets is completely ineffective with the cold current dragon claw. Chen Wei thought about it and found that K Ling now has no lack of high-level control skills, but lacks a final damage type skill. After noting this, he turned his head and looked at Yutong, who was yawning on his shoulder. It's your turn, Yutong. Fire overcomes gold. With Yutong's strength, it should not be a problem to kill the immobile nine-headed nephew. A terrifying pillar of fire that dominated the world rose into the sky. Unlike K Ling's previous difficult defense. In front of the burning holy flame of destiny, even the red copper crystals condensed by the unavoidable gold guard showed some signs of melting. Let's end it, we should go to the next level. As Chen Wei's voice fell, a pillar of fire that annihilated everything suddenly shot out from the wheel of destiny behind Yutong, directly bombarding most of the body of the nine-headed nephew. The continuous outbreak of the holy flame of destiny instantly turned the nine-headed nephew into a four-headed nephew without breathing. At the moment when the nine-headed nephew's figure turned into fragments and dissipated, a broken red copper crystal fell into Chen Wei's arms, broken uncontrollable crystal, a crystal fragment from the body of the Emperor Beast nine-headed nephew. Due to the long preservation period, too much gold and earth dual element energy has been lost in the crystal, and it has been downgraded to level 6 king resource. Note, rubbing the scales or body of a pet with an uncontrollable crystal can significantly improve the pet's defense. Good stuff. I don't know if this thing is useful for a beast master. I have to check the information when I go back. Chen Wei, who has a steady personality, suddenly brightened up. He never has too many beast resources like this that can improve his survivability. At the same time, the list of the Buddha list published by the Buddha Refining Tower suddenly changed, and Chen Wei's name squeezed into the top 30. Number 29 on the Buddha list, Chen Wei, 3rd floor. This obvious abnormality attracted the attention of some students who have always been paying attention to the changes in the ranking of the Buddha list. As expected of senior Chen Wei, he has passed 3 levels in a row not long after starting, a beautiful girl said with emotion. It's only the 3rd level. In the same time, senior Long Wenshilong has already broken through the 4th level and is now sprinting for the 5th level. What a 1000-year first genius. I think it's just a false reputation, the exchange student of Tenglong College immediately responded. The girl widened her eyes. What do you know? The senior is attending club gatherings during the day and only starts the Buddha Realm Challenge at night. What's the use? The top spot on the Buddha list this year will eventually be taken by our Tenglong College. The exchange student's eyes were burning, and his tone was full of expectation. After the star calendar, Tenglong College, which was classified as one of the 8 colleges, was suppressed by the 5 major colleges of Donghu for a long time of thousands of years. But who knows that in the recent ancient times, their Tenglong Taoist Academy was a beast control force that could compete with the 5 major colleges of Donghu. It was just because the leaders of the Holy Land stood in the wrong position. After the situation in Donghu country became clear, the power level changed alternately, and the beast control forces were reshuffled. Tenglong Taoist Academy could only change its way to school in the end, and was downgraded from one of the original 6 Holy Lands to a lower level of the 8 colleges. This is also the reason why they have always wanted to catch up with the 5 major colleges. On the other side, the temporary residents of Chihuang University. Wang Miatong was sitting cross-legged with her eyes closed, restoring the source of energy that had been consumed by the inheritance trial. At this moment, a refreshing sandalwood fragrance came from outside the door. Smelling the fragrance, Wang Miatong ended her practice, opened her eyes and said, "Come in." The door opened, and Tai Dansong walked in with a pile of information in her arms, and then put the latest information she had collected on the table. Wang Miatong picked up the information and took a look. Sure enough, Chen Wei, like me, also has the potential to start the inheritance trial. Wang Miatong's beautiful eyes moved, and she recalled the painful memory of the first trial. In her junior year, in order to pass the first level of the Buddha trial, she let her pet bombard the 9-headed nephew for a whole day and night, but still could not break its tortoise-shell defense. Until the end, she used up the elixir to restore her source of energy and withdrew from the beast refining tower, and then she learned a piece of news from her team leader Luo Wei that made her speechless. Unless a strong person of epic level or above breaks through the test in person, if he wants to kill the 9-headed tribe, he must use the indestructible horn on its head to break through the defense of the Golden Guard in advance. It only took more than 10 minutes to pass the first test. It seems that he got the information in advance. Wang Miatong squeezed her hand, and the scorching flame instantly turned the information in her hand into ashes. Chapter 438 Star Spirit Deer. The environment of the second trial site suddenly changed. The previous second, it was still yellow sand all over the sky, a desolate scene, and the next second, it turned into a green grass and endless grassland. These are horned sheep and wild rabbits. Chen Wei looked at the rabbits running quickly on the grassland, which were 3 meters long, and the right-horned white sheep that lowered their heads to nibble on fresh grass, and his eyes could not help but become more curious. These are rare and exotic animals that have long been extinct in Donghu. Although according to the records of the Beast Taming Atlas, the race level of these two exotic beasts is only high-level extraordinary. Because of their delicious meat and touching IQ, they cannot be artificially raised in captivity. In recent ancient times, they have been eaten to extinction by some beastmasters. It's a pity that this is just an illusory world created by the Buddha realm, otherwise you can catch a few and put them in the spirit plant space to roam, and try the rabbit meat and mutton that are said to be as delicious as dragon meat. Thinking of this, Chen Wei shook his head with some regret, and the voice of the beast refining tower spirit sounded. Second level of trial, use attack or body to touch the Star Spirit Sky Deer Cub. Note, Star Spirit Sky Deer is also known as the Spirit of Wind Star. It is one of the fastest and most endurance alien species in the Emperor race. Is this a speed test? Chen Wei looked at the golden light flashing in the distance, and his delusion-breaking spiritual eyes immediately activated. Name of pet, Star Spirit Sky Deer. Pet attributes, Star, Wind. Racial level, Legendary Emperor. Strength level, Level 3 middle. Racial skills, Wind Spirit Gallop. Star Spirit Recovery, Double Star Possession. Wind Falling Star. Legendary Domain. Pet Introduction. Star Spirit Sky Deer is an extremely curious alien beast. When encountering unfamiliar things, it often walks forward to observe carefully, which also causes it to be frequently attacked by wild alien beasts, but because of its extremely fast speed, almost no alien beast's attack can touch it. At this time, as if it had noticed Chen Wei's peeping, the golden light in the distance suddenly stagnated, and then a Star Spirit Deer with a body length of nearly 4 meters, 2 golden horns on its head, and stars twinkling and breeze entangled on the golden horns suddenly appeared. Looking at the cute big eyes and the strong curiosity revealed in the eyes, Chen Wei was slightly startled. Why does this Star Spirit Deer give people a cute feeling, without any domineering of the Emperor race pet, huh? As a gust of wind blew, the Star Spirit Deer that was just running happily in the distance suddenly appeared on the grass 5 meters in front of Chen Wei. Seeing this, Kailing subconsciously leaned out and protected the Beastmaster. Under close observation, Chen Wei found that the Star Spirit Deer seemed to like to hold its head high, showing the crown composed of 3 golden horns on its head, and then stared at him with a pair of clear and bright deer eyes. This level of trial seems to be relatively simple. Chen Wei blinked his eyes, stepped on his feet, and his agile body rushed towards the Star Spirit Deer like a galloping cannonball. A gentleman can be deceived by his own tactics. Facing this relatively mild-mannered pet, he could test how much of a gap there is between his speed and that of the Emperor's beast. Anyway, he would not really die in the beast refining tower. However, Chen Wei's attack, which could make a 4th-level king pet unable to react, seemed particularly slow in the eyes of the Star Spirit Sky Deer, like a stuck app. In the 0.00001 second when Chen Wei launched the attack, the Star Spirit Sky Deer opened its eyes wide. What is this? In 0.0001 seconds, the Star Spirit Sky Deer tilted its head. Looking at its appearance, it is a bit similar to the Eclipse Thunderbomb ape. Both of them stand upright on 2 legs. In 0.001 seconds, the Sky Deer finally reacted. Hey, is he going to play with me? In 0.05 seconds, the Sky Deer raised its hoof, hesitant in its eyes. Should I run away now? In 0.01 seconds, when Chen Wei slammed his casserole-sized fist into the air, the star spirit sky deer had finished thinking, and its figure instantly appeared in the distance. At a fast speed, looking at the missing fist and the extremely fast figure that could not be locked by mental power, Chen Wei's face showed a solemn expression. Are you still not running? Chen Wei turned his head and looked at the star spirit sky deer in the distance, who was still stupidly staying in the same place, as if thinking about some deep problems. Suddenly, he felt that he was underestimated. Kei Ling, are you sure you can touch it? Yi, oh, no problem. After saying that, in order to prove the authenticity of his words, a ripple in space flashed, and Kei Ling's figure suddenly appeared above the star spirit sky deer, and the slender dragon tail directly hit its golden horn. Obviously, Kei Ling, who knew the content of this heavy trial, did not want to injure the star spirit sky deer, so he chose to attack its strongest defense. However, in Chen Wei's expectant eyes, Kei Ling's must-win attack actually missed, setting off a series of sonic booms in the air. You can't even touch a space-type pet like Kei Ling? The star spirit sky deer is indeed the fastest emperor beast. If you don't have such a strong curiosity and just run at full speed, there are probably few beast masters in the world who can catch up. Chen Wei was a little tempted. If he could contract a star spirit sky deer with both star and wind elements, plus Kei Ling, who is good at space, his ability to survive in the wild would be maximized. Even if a legendary master chased him personally, he might not be able to catch up. Unfortunately, the star spirit sky deer is an emperor beast that has been extinct in Donghu country. Even a legendary master would find it difficult to contract it, let alone himself. Try to conceal the source power fluctuations. It doesn't matter if the skill casting speed is slow. Use the Eternal Frost Seal in slow space to block its movement, looking at the star spirit sky deer that was stupid in the distance, and then moved forward. Chen Wei conveyed his thoughts. Hearing this, Kei Ling nodded slightly, and a subtle chill spread around her. As the magnificent ice source power in the body was successfully brewed, endless frost suddenly fell from the sky above the star spirit sky deer. Crack, crack, as the icy snowflakes fell, the star spirit sky deer couldn't help but shiver. It looked at the beautiful snowflakes curiously, and its body instantly turned into golden light and fled into the distance. The next second, with the sky deer as the center, everything within a radius of 5 meters was frozen by the ice blue frost. The star spirit sky deer, which was still full of energy before, suddenly turned into an ice sculpture that could not move. Seeing this, Chen Wei rushed forward without hesitation. Bang! A bright starlight fell from the sky, and the frost on the surface of the star spirit sky deer ice sculpture began to melt at a terrifying speed. Too late, Chen Wei looked at the star spirit sky deer in front of him and quickly stretched out his palm. It only took 1 second for him to touch it. Swish! What surprised Chen Wei was that the sky deer, which was restrained by the Eternal Frost Seal, could still run despite its speed being reduced to the extreme. But as Kei Ling activated the slow space, a terrifying gravity suddenly pressed the star spirit sky deer to the ground, causing its movements to slow down slightly. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 439, Two-Headed Hellhound. When Chen Wei's palm touched the golden horn of the star spirit sky deer, a stream of light flashed, and the curious eyes shattered and dissipated along with the vast grassland. I thought it was a chase, but I didn't expect it to be so easy. Chen Wei sighed softly. At this moment, Chen Wei, who accidentally passed the second trial, did not know that only when the Beast Master commanded the pet to launch a skill attack, the star spirit sky deer would instinctively flee, causing the difficulty of the trial to rise sharply. In this case, if the challenger wants to touch the star spirit sky deer, which is irrigated with star power and will never be exhausted, it is impossible to catch up even if the pet is exhausted to death. As the world changes, a small golden horn quietly falls into Chen Wei's palm. Golden horn jewelry, a 6th-level top-grade king source device made by a master forger to imitate the horns of the star spirit sky deer. Because it has been preserved for too long, it needs to be nurtured with high-level wind source crystals before it can be used. Note, wearing golden horn jewelry on your body can obtain wind protection, slight protection from the wind source power, and speed improvement. Can it increase the attack speed? Feeling his body suddenly become lighter, Chen Wei suddenly punched forward. Huh? The breeze wrapped around Chen Wei's arm, and the flowing air made his punching speed faster. Not bad, the speed has increased by about 6 levels. Chen Wei's eyes lit up, and he handed the golden horn in his hand to Keiling. He preferred to let Keiling use this source of enhanced combat power rather than using it himself. How does it feel, seeing Keiling hide the golden horn at the junction of the dragon horn and the scales on the top of the head? Chen Wei smiled slightly. Yin, not bad. Keiling waved a slender dragon tail. The dragon tail that could easily make a sonic boom in the air in the past became silent at this moment, and the waving speed not only became 30% faster, but also the power was greatly enhanced. Sure enough, this golden horn jewelry is a pet weapon that can be used by pets. Chen Wei had a hint of satisfaction on his face. At the same time, the Futu list published by the outside world changed again, and Chen Wei's name jumped directly from the 29th to the 24th. And this ranking change also attracted the attention of most teachers and students of Zidian University. Xi'antai is located near the spiritual medicine garden of Zidian University. It is another spiritual medicine plantation of Hanjiao besides the Star Ring secret realm. Chen Wei has passed the 4th level of the Futu realm. Looking at the screen condensed with clear water in front of him, Hanjiao frowned slightly. The challenge of the first 4 levels of the Futu realm is not difficult, but it is a bit cumbersome and takes a lot of time to pass. And Chen Wei was able to enter the Futu list in such a short time, most likely because he opened the inheritance trial. Hanjiao was not surprised about this. After all, even Tan Yongzhi's unsuccessful disciple could open the inheritance trial. It would be strange if his own disciples could not open it. The only thing that made Hanjiao feel concerned was how many trials Chen Wei could break through in his first attempt without any intelligence. At the beginning, she rushed to the 4th level of the trial in one go before she failed. As a disciple she had high hopes for and would be better than her master in the future. Chen Wei should at least break through the 4th level of the trial. The bright white moonlight sprinkled on the ground, and then, 4 pairs of blood-red lantern eyes suddenly appeared in the dark mountains in the distance, exuding a terrifying might. Then, the owners of the 4 pairs of blood-red eyes jumped down from a height, and Chen Wei only felt the ground began to shake violently. The 3rd level of the trial, defeat the 2-headed hellhound and take off its fangs from hell. Note, the 2-headed hellhound is a dark attribute beast from hell, and has a very strong immunity to the 5 basic attributes. As the voice of the beast refining tower spirit fell, 2 extremely violent roars sounded one after another. It was a huge beast with a body length of nearly 7 meters, 2 ferocious dog heads on its neck, a bloody mouth slightly open, and a pungent smell of sulfur. As the tail swung like a Tyrannosaurus, a blood-red flame rose up. Chen Wei could tell from the venomous saliva dripping from the corner of its mouth to the ground and corroding holes that this 2-headed hellhound should be hungry. Name of pet, 2-headed hellhound. Pet attributes, darkness, poison, fire. Racial level, epic overlord. Strength level, 4th order upper. Racial skills, gate of hell, dark night harvest, corrosive corpse poison, dark flame of hell, overlord pressure. Pet introduction. As the gatekeeper of the gate of hell in legend, the teeth of the 2-headed hellhound have the magical effect of purifying curses. Watching this giant dog with a fierce killing intent approaching, Chen Wei's heart moved, and his fingertips subconsciously moved on the star ring. Under the white light of the summoning symbol array, Teodi, who was holding a mechanical dragon claw in his hand, suddenly appeared. Roar! Teodi's face changed, and he quickly threw the mechanical dragon claw in his hand to the ground, revealing a look of being ready for battle. Defeat it and pull out its teeth. This is your main task today, Chen Wei conveyed his thoughts. As a dark pet, although he didn't know whether Teodi's infinite evolution would have any effect on the strange beasts manifested by the beast refining tower, Chen Wei felt it was necessary to try. Raising an army for 1,000 days and using it for a moment, Chen Wei has been contracting Teodi for so long, and has been improving its strength. Now is the time for it to exert its strength. Roar! No problem. Teodi spread its huge blood-colored wings, and a terrifying dragon might close to that of the Emperor race burst out. Woo! The 4th level upper 2-headed Hades dog subconsciously lowered its head, completely no longer the ferocious look just now. Strange, Teodi's current posture is only an epic overlord. It needs to unlock 3 stages of evolution to be considered an Emperor race. With the strength of the 2-headed Hades dog, it should not be afraid of Teodi. Chen Wei's thoughts turned. Could it be that the trial beast that was illusory and materialized in the beast refining tower only had part of the power of the real body? Just as Chen Wei was thinking, the two-headed Hades dog had recovered under the pressure of Tamed and began to attack. The two-headed Hades dog quietly hid in the darkness, and the night became its best hiding color. Flame dragon chasing the sun. Chen Wei ordered Yutong on his shoulder. The inheritance trial never said that there could be no more than one. He summoned Tamed just to try to absorb the high-quality source power of the two-headed Hades dog, so as to improve the potential of the evolutionary posture. Soon, a hot sun emitting infinite light and heat suddenly rose from Yutong. The dazzling light dispelled the surrounding darkness, revealing a two-headed hellhound with a bit of violence in its eyes, and a stinking venom with a smell of sulfur spewing out of its mouth. Eternal Frost Seal. As soon as the words fell, the biting frost froze the venom in the air and quickly spread to the whole body of the two-headed hellhound. Chapter 440, Gate of Hell. The two-headed hellhound showed a dark glow and devoured the thick frost covering its body, but the speed of devouring was a bit slow. For this reason, it spewed out another burst of flames as dark as ink. Let it be honest, as Chen Wei said this, Kailing immediately urged the size of Ruai. The originally small body quickly expanded, and the huge dragon claws flashed with cold light, firmly imprisoning the extremely petite hellhound in the palm of his hand to prevent it from escaping. Realizing that the two-headed hellhound could not move, the dragon wing armor behind Tamed immediately deformed and unfolded, turning into a dark shadow covering the sky and the sun, covering part of the two-headed hellhound. Boom! As a huge roar sounded, Chen Wei saw a dark glow surging between Tamed and the two-headed hellhound, and even the frost frozen by the hellhound was shattered and felt by the majestic source power fluctuations at this moment. The two-headed hellhound spewed out dark flames, and the ground under its feet instantly turned into a ring-shaped lava river with magma flowing. The scorching heat spread out from its body, and even Kailing's blue dragon scales showed a faint fiery red light. Feeling the terrifying high temperature rising sharply on the dragon claws, Kailing blew a ball of cold air from her nose. Not only did she not let go, but she grabbed harder and harder, causing the two-headed hellhound to show a painful expression on his face. At this time, the gate of hell that slowly appeared on the lava river suddenly experienced a violent spatial shock, and it seemed that it could come to the world at any time. Use the purgatory aurora to attack its eyes to interrupt it. Pay attention to the strength and don't completely defeat it. Looking at the gate of hell that exuded a weird atmosphere, Chen Wei suddenly had an ominous premonition in his mind. The next second, almost at the moment when the gate of hell was about to descend, Yutong condensed the surging fire source power in her body into a flame aurora with extremely strong penetrating power that burst out from her eyes. Zizzy, a laser flashed across, and a hole suddenly appeared on the two-headed hellhound caught in Kailing's claws, causing it to cry out in pain. The already shaky gate of hell in the distance shattered. Hasn't it been devoured yet? Chen Wei was speechless as he watched Tamed, whose wings were clinging to the hellhound and whose expression was strained. This greedy little fellow usually devoured the source power of the battle angel very quickly. Now that it has dragged on for so long, could it be that the beasts materialized by the beast refining tower cannot be devoured with skills? Just as Chen Wei was hesitating whether to completely solve the two-headed hellhound, the three dragon horns on Taoti's head burst into bloody light. The terrifying devouring power instantly made the hellhound, which was in a desperate situation, flash a touch of violence in its eyes, trying to make the source power in its body explode. However, Kailing used her dragon claws to strangle the neck of the two-headed hellhound like catching a chick, and used unstoppable force to forcibly interrupt its attempt to detonate the source power. Roar! Tamed suddenly raised his head and roared excitedly, accompanied by a hysterical wail. Under Chen Wei's surprised eyes, a shining advanced light suddenly burst out from Tamed, rendering everything around it into white light. It can really devour the source power of the beast in the beast refining tower. Chen Wei showed a little surprise on his face. He just wanted to try it out, but he didn't expect Tamed to succeed. Soon, when the advanced light dissipated, the Tamed, which was obviously much stronger, came into Chen Wei's sight. Perhaps because of the devouring of the dark source power, the dragon scales on the surface of Tamed, which were as impeccable as black crystals, became deeper, and the defense ability was improved again. Even the blood-red ruby on the top of the dragon head had a deep and dim light, strength level, lower third level. Looking at the information displayed by the delusion-breaking spirit eyes, Chen Wei's pupils shrank slightly. Tamed has been absorbing the mechanical source power of the 6th level king, Battle Angel, during this period of time, and it has only improved its strength by 2 small levels in a month. Now, using infinite evolution to devour a 4th order upper level 2-headed hellhound, Tamed has advanced 2 small ranks in a short period of time. The pure energy transformed by this 2-headed hellhound is even more outrageous than a 6th order elixir. In addition, what Chen Wei cares most about is a new skill that Tamed awakens as his strength advances. Skill, Hellgate, Fake, Level, 7th order Dark and Fire dual element epic skill, Introduction, turn the ground under your feet into lava hell and summon a Hellgate that can lead to hell. The Hellgate has 3 release methods, attack, defense, and teleportation, each with different effects. In the offensive state, the Hellgate can instantly detonate the lava land, tear the space, burst the earth fire, and materialize the opponent you have killed as a red prison soldier to participate in the battle. In the defensive state, the Hellgate can exempt the releaser from a fatal attack once. As for the teleportation state, it opens the door to hell, allowing the releaser to have the qualifications to go to hell for a short time. Note, hell is a place that the living cannot enter. The living who forcefully opens the gate to hell is very likely to be cursed by the hellmark and finally fall into the endless purgatory. Due to the influence of some power, the Hellgate skill is incomplete, and Tamed can only release 2 forms of attack and defense at most. After reading the skill introduction, Chen Wei's face showed a solemn look. Even hell exists in this world, no wonder the divine egg in his mind can be reincarnated. It is better to use such a dangerous skill less. Roar. At this time, Tamed, who had completed the advancement, opened his excited eyes and suddenly appeared in front of Chen Wei. If you can get the wool of the beast tower like this, won't Tamed be able to advance to the upper level of the 4th level soon? Touching the Taemed's head with narrowed eyes, Chen Wei's eyes lit up slightly. I don't know if the first 2 levels of the inheritance trial that I have passed can be repeated. If so, even if the attributes of the 2 beasts of the Emperor race are not compatible with Tamed, after devouring them, they can still bring enough terrifying progress to Tamed. Hey, strange, why hasn't the voice of the weapon spirit come out yet? Chen Wei blinked his eyes and finally found something wrong. He has passed the trial, why is the surrounding environment unchanged? And even the transmission channel is not open. Chen Wei tilted his head to look at the place where the 2-headed Hades disappeared, where a snow-white canine tooth remained, incomplete Hades Fang, a 6th level dark and poison dual element resource. It has the function of purifying the soul, removing curses, and removing all poisons. Chen Wei picked up the Hades Fang and put it into the star ring, then silently said in his heart, "Start the next trial?" A breeze blew, and nothing happened. Chen Wei glanced down at Tamed and thought to himself, no way, could it be that Taemed's devouring of the source power will affect the operation of the Beast Refining Tower? Why did the Beast Refining Tower suddenly freeze? Chapter 441 5-Claw Golden Dragon. At the top floor of the Buddha Beast Refining Tower, which is the 9-story tower with a small golden bell, an old man with sparse hair, a little vicissitude in his eyes, and large wrinkles around his eyes and cheeks suddenly sighed. Strange, the supply of Saint Crystals to the Beast Refining Tower this week is sufficient, why is there a lack of energy? After saying that, the old man got up from the cushion and walked slowly to the small golden bell. As the Dean of Rosewood University, Qiao Sheng's task is very simple, which is to feed a Saint Crystal to the small golden bell every week during the opening of the Buddha Beast Refining Tower to maintain the normal operation of the Beast Refining Tower. Now there is almost a day before he feeds the tower spirit, and the lack of energy in the Beast Refining Tower is indeed a bit strange. Could it be that another genius beast master in the school has rushed to the 6th level of the inheritance trial of the Buddha Tower? Thinking of this possibility, Qiao Sheng quickly moved his mind, and the ranking scroll on the J table in the distance instantly fell into his hands. Not really, what is going on then? Qiao Sheng's eyes moved. The Futu trial ranked low on the scroll, and Chen Wei, who had only passed the 3rd trial, was directly ignored by him. After all, the energy that disappeared out of thin air was enough to allow the Beast Refining Tower to open hundreds of triple trials. Since we can't find the reason, it can only be regarded as the natural loss of the Beast Refining Tower. Qiao Sheng looked down at the bottom of his feet. The Futu Beast Refining Tower, a legendary treasure that no one can control, has extremely strong confidentiality. Even if he is a legendary master, he cannot use his spiritual power to scan what is happening in the tower. A holy crystal, Qiaosheng took out a natural stone that looked a bit like a pebble from the star ring with some pain. If an ordinary beastmaster met this stone on the road, he would only think it was an ordinary stone. But in the eyes of a legendary master, this small holy crystal has a terrifying energy that is enough to flatten the entire city in an instant. It is a legendary resource that is enough to support the practice of a legendary master. And it is precisely because the Fu-2 Beast Refining Tower has extremely high requirements for source power, and only Saint crystals above the top source crystals can be activated. It is completely a gold swallower, and the senior leaders of Zidian University will selectively ban and isolate it. At the gate of the Fu-2 Beast Refining Tower, with a burst of strong light, Chen Wei's figure suddenly appeared in front of everyone. That's Chen Wei, who is number 1 on the SYNOPSIS list. Did he fail to challenge the Fu-2 world or failed the inheritance trial? The exchange student of Zhengshan University, the big man with thick eyebrows and big eyes, looked at Chen Wei with an ugly face, and his eyes showed surprise. Chen Wei is currently ranked 15th in the Fu-2, ranked a few places behind Long Wenqi, but this is already an extremely remarkable achievement. You must know that Long Wenqi and his senior brother Rong Xiang fought in the Beast Refining Tower for about 3 years before they broke through to the 4th level of the inheritance trial step by step. Unfortunately, there are always people in this world who have no opinions and believe everything they hear. And when Chen Wei failed to break through and appeared at the gate of the Beast Refining Tower, a public opinion storm that started from nowhere had already begun. That's all you can get for being the first? You can't even get past the 6th level of the Buddha realm. Your strength is really questionable. Even Han Wu Guang, who ranks 3rd on the Buddha list, was defeated by Chen Wei. If you dare to challenge Chen Wei, I will still respect you as a man. Don't be so arrogant. A fight is a fight. Is that all you can get for being the first? It's just a joke. The top of the SYNOPSIS list can only be ranked 15th on the Buddha list. Looking at the buzzing news on his phone, Xianhe shook his head speechlessly. These boring little tricks can only disgust people, and the actual damage to Chen Wei can be said to be minimal. The Beast Masters in the 5 major Donghu schools who know a little about the inheritance trial information will only treat this rumor as a joke. Thinking of this, Xianhe glanced at Chen Wei, who was still standing there in a daze not far away, with some envy. Do geniuses nowadays set such high standards for themselves? If my silly senior brother could break through the 3rd level of the inheritance trial in his freshman year and finally fail in the 4th level, he would probably be able to jump around and show off all day long. However, at this moment, Chen Wei looked at the star ring on his finger with astonishment in his eyes. Yes, that's right. When Chen Wei was waiting for the teleportation channel to appear, he was teleported out by the furious spirit of the Beast Refining Tower, and he didn't even see what the 4th level of the trial looked like. That's not all. Chen Wei also successfully received a punishment. Because he bypassed the rules and restrictions of the Beast Refining Tower and commanded his pet to steal the energy of the Beast Refining Tower, from today on, he is not allowed to enter the Beast Refining Tower within a week. Damn it, I just let Tamed use the infinite evolution to devour energy once and it was discovered. Chen Wei frowned. At this moment, compared with the exotic beast medicine that was materialized in the inheritance trial of the Beast Refining Tower, even the 9-story training room promised by the teacher before was not so good. If the inheritance trial can be repeated, it won't take half a month for Chen Wei to be confident that he can improve the strength of Tamed from the lower 3rd level to the peak of the upper 4th level, or even the lower 5th level that exceeds the limit of the source star. At that time, he might be able to set a terrifying record of killing a 6th level king beast as an elite beast master, and then win the championship of the National College Beast Master competition in one go. It seems that I can only come back next week to get energy. Chen Wei looked back at the towering Beast Refining Tower with some regret. And this move was undoubtedly an unwilling move by Chen Wei after his failure to pass the level in the eyes of the students watching. The sky was already slightly bright, and Chen Wei planned to walk back to the villa. Along the way, he saw many beast masters running in groups of 2 or 3 with various pets. Looking at the young students gathered around the door of his house, Chen Wei followed their gaze and looked into the distance, where there was a very eye-catching figure standing at the door of the villa waiting. Guan Qingxin, seeing the iconic light purple beautiful eyes, Chen Wei was slightly stunned, and then strode forward. Seeing him appear, Guan Qingxin's eyes lit up, and she smiled and waved at Chen Wei. "Why are you here?" Chen Wei asked softly. "Why, don't you welcome me?" "Who told you not to even reply to the message I sent you?" Guan Qingxin said. "Of course not, I was in the beast refining tower yesterday and didn't have time to check the messages on my phone. Chen Wei took out his phone and took a look. Sure enough, Guan Kingxin's name was on the screen. Did you ask me if there was a way to make a card like Pet Beast stronger quickly? Are you planning to leap over the dragon gate and cultivate a real dragon? Guan Kingxin's eyes were burning. Yes, Chen Wei nodded slightly. Although his main purpose was to explore the secrets hidden in Xiaojin, rather than to cultivate a real dragon Pet Beast, this excuse could cover up his behavior well. I have a secret method for cultivating a 5-claw golden dragon in ancient times. Do you want it? Guan Kingxin conveyed his thoughts. Chapter 442, Secret Method Flaws. Chen Wei was startled at first, but then quickly regained his composure. What is the concept of the secret method of cultivating a 5-claw golden dragon? You know, the 5-claw golden dragon is the emperor of the dragon clan. It is not a legendary emperor defined by the human race as a beast master, but a dragon of the emperor with a truly noble bloodline. In Donghua, it is only inferior to the azure dragon of the sky, which is regarded as one of the 4 holy spirits by the human race. The race level is at least an immortal demigod. And if the bloodline or strength of the 5-claw golden dragon can go further and break through the 9th level immortal demigod, it may become the rarest dragon among the dragon clan, the dominant dragon that only exists in the inherited knowledge. If Guan Kingxin really has this terrifying secret method that can make the dragon carp evolve into a 5-claw golden dragon, she will definitely guard against it and block the news. How could she take the initiative to reveal it? As long as this level of secret method is used properly, the family behind her can definitely soar to the sky and will not find him, a low-level beastmaster. Seeing that Chen Wei only shrank his pupils and regained his calm, Guan Kingxin couldn't help but show surprise on his face. When she first heard about this secret method, her face was full of disbelief, far from being as calm as Chen Wei is now. There are many people here, let's go in and talk. Chen Wei walked in front and pushed open the door of the villa. Guan Kingxin was a little absent-minded when she saw Chen Wei making tea with familiarity. She thought it would be easy to complete the family's task this time, but now it seems that things are not as easy as she imagined. Come, taste the tea I made. Chen Wei's mind moved, and the spotless white teacup slowly fell in front of Guan Kingxin. Smelling the rich and fragrant tea fragrance, Guan Kingxin suppressed the entanglement in her heart and took a sip gently. Yunai Oolong, she looked a little puzzled. It tastes slightly bitter at first, and then sweet, giving people a sense of spiritual emptiness. This is the characteristic of the 4th level wood-type spiritual tea Yunai Oolong. Although Yunai Oolong is only at the 4th level, because it has the effect of increasing the mind and improving the speed of source star cultivation, its actual value is comparable to the 5th level beast resources. Even though she was the daughter of the Guan family, this rare spiritual tea was not something she could drink every day if she wanted to. But the strange thing was that after drinking Yunai Oolong, there was generally no warm current in the stomach. I usually like to grow flowers and plants. This Qingai Oolong is a new variety I cultivated with Yunai Oolong. In addition to increasing the speed of Yuanxing cultivation, it also has the effect of whitening the skin and delaying the aging of the body. After saying that, Chen Wei picked up the teapot and poured a cup for Guan Kingxin. There are 5 or 6 kinds of spiritual teas like this suitable for receiving guests in his spiritual plant space, but Qingai Oolong is the highest level spiritual tea cultivated by Bailuo. Then I have to drink a few more cups. Hearing this, Guan Kingxin's beautiful eyes lit up slightly. Although she is still young and doesn't have to worry about the aging of her face. No girl would refuse a spiritual medicine that can keep people young. But she didn't forget the business. After drinking a few cups of hot tea, she started to get straight to the point. Are you interested in the secret method of cultivating the 5-claw golden dragon? Of course I am interested, but I may not be able to afford such a precious secret method. Chen Wei looked calm and poured Guan Kingxin another cup of hot tea. It's difficult. Guan Kingxin thought about it and decided not to drag it out. He directly took out a dark inheritance source stone from the star ring. This inheritance source stone records the secret method of cultivating the ancient emperor dragon, 5-claw golden dragon. The atmosphere in the hall suddenly became dull. After a moment, Chen Wei's voice broke the silence. What do you want? Let me see if I can afford it. This cultivation secret method requires elixir to cooperate. I hope you can help. Contact Master Han to discuss cooperation, Guan Kingxin said with a stiff face. According to her observation, this cultivation secret method does not seem to be that important to Chen Wei. Is this your request or the request of your family behind you? Chen Wei said seriously. Although Guan Kingson did not make it clear, he knew that the Guan family in Zitan City's search for a teacher to cooperate was mostly unsuccessful, otherwise there would be no need to find him. It's just that in order to find a way to help Xiaojin advance quickly, he still owed Guan Kingson a favor, so he couldn't refuse directly. Guan Kingson smiled bitterly. For me, there is no difference between the two. It's not so easy to be the daughter of the beast tamer family. She has been using the resources given by the family since she was born, enjoying the protection of the family, and the price is to contribute her own strength when the family needs it. Chen Wei played with the source stone in his hand, and then threw it back in Guan Kingson's incredible eyes. I understand. I will propose to the teacher. You can take back this inheritance source stone. Favors can be big or small, and Chen Wei is not sure that he can change what the teacher has already refused, which is why he didn't take this secret method. If he accepts this source stone, it is equivalent to making a decision for the teacher, and making decisions for the teacher is a big taboo for disciples. I understand. Guan Kingson held the inheritance source stone in her hand tightly and stood up with some regret. But she didn't forget to drink another glass of Kingayu long before leaving. Unfortunately, although the 5-claw golden dragon is good, a cultivation method that costs a lot of money and can even be said to be a bottomless pit is not what I want. Looking at Guan Kingson's lonely back, Chen Wei thought to himself. Standing there and thinking for a while, Chen Wei picked up his phone and sent a message to the teacher. Teacher, the Guan family in Zitan City asked me to help promote cooperation. Then, he took out the high-level dragon crystal and began to strengthen. Compared with the illusory 5-claw golden dragon cultivation secret method, he believed more in his outstanding innate talent. Buzz, the phone rang. Chen Wei put down the dragon crystal and glanced at the teacher's reply. The Guan family's secret method of creating a secret has great flaws. It takes a lot of time and resources to complete. You'd better not get involved, okay? After replying to the message, Chen Wei put the matter behind him and began to practice in seclusion, completely ignoring the increasingly serious public opinion on the internet. Wang Miaotong beat 5 college students and won the first place in the Buddha list of Zhejiang University. Chihuahua University is the only one who can win the championship of this year's National Beast Taming College competition, ranked 15th on the Zhejiang Buddha list, a genius rarely seen in 1,000 years. Before the National Beast Taming College competition begins every year, the Buddha list and Jinling list opened briefly by Zhejiang University are the most eye-catching and have a very high gold content. It can be said that the champions of each National Beast Taming College competition are the top 3 players on the Buddha list and Jinling list, without exception. Under such circumstances, the fact that Chen Wei failed to enter the top 10 of the Buddha list for a whole week was widely publicized, and even many students ranked in the top 10 of the Zhejiang list challenged Chen Wei, trying to replace this nationally famous genius. Chapter 443 Hot. While Chen Wei was concentrating on practicing in seclusion, Kai Ling, Ba Luo, Yu Tong and Tao Tai were honing their skills at the top of the spiritual plant space. Since Chen Wei brought the Tibetan Dragon Ball into the land of the spiritual plant space, the nourishment of the dragon vein energy has not only increased the scope of the spiritual plant space, but even the mountains near the medicine field have quietly risen to a small peak with an altitude of more than 200 meters. Compared with the fragile backyard of Chen Wei's villa, Kai Ling and his friends prefer to hone their skills on this mountain. It is precisely because of this that the mountain named Lingzi Mountain by Chen Wei has 4 far-flung forbidden areas covered by frost, flames, forests and machinery. At this time, in the ice valley surrounded by cold snow and crisscrossed by glaciers, which is also the place where Kai Ling often trains, a violent shock wave suddenly erupted, and a large amount of water vapor rose. In the smoke, a red light flashed, and a powerful dragon with a sturdy body and terrifying power spread its wings, and a pair of black claws covered with the green lightning fiercely attacked Kai Ling flying in the air. Kai Ling did not dodge, and urged the big and small Ruai to meet the powerful and terrifying dragon claws head-on. Boom! The 2 huge dragon shadows, one large and one small, quickly retreated in the opposite direction under the strong impact. Yi, at this time, as if aware of the awakening of the Beastmaster, Kai Ling and Taodi looked at each other, and did not continue to train skills, but rushed into the sky and landed in a wooden house near the medicine field. This wooden house looks a bit simple, but in the eyes of the spiritual plant master who is proficient in spiritual medicine cultivation, it is extremely luxurious. Because the wood that makes up the house is a 3rd-level spiritual bamboo, Lonely Lamp Heart Bamboo, which has the ability to actively gather the source power of the nearby heaven and earth and purify it. In the Beast Taming Mall, any single solitary rush bamboo can be sold for hundreds of thousands of star coins. With this calculation, the wooden house in front of us is worth at least tens of millions of star coins. And this luxurious wooden house is just a place built by Luo to facilitate Chen Wei's training, using his source power to produce a large number of solitary rush bamboo. Have you two finished your training? Looking at the two pets rushing into his arms, Chen Wei quickly stretched out his hands to embrace them. Then, as if sensing the familiar source power, the four pets quickly looked up at the crystal on the table, their mouths slightly open, and couldn't help drooling. This dragon crystal has not been strengthened yet. I will give it to you when it is completed. Chen Wei smiled slightly and picked up the crystal on the table that was shining with bright purple light. Advanced Dragon Crystal, Extreme, an incredible treasure that allows the blood of extraordinary creatures to trace back to the origin of dragons, with a probability of awakening random dragon skills at 7 levels. Note, because the maker is not strong enough, the accumulated energy is not enough to produce a qualitative change, and it cannot be upgraded to the top dragon crystal for the time being. Chen Wei looked at the information identified by the delusion-breaking spirit eyes, feeling somewhat helpless. It was precisely because he sensed that the dragon crystals he had been strengthening had reached their limits that he gave up using the power of the dragon to strengthen more high-level dragon crystals during his retreat, and chose to focus on strengthening the dragon crystals with the highest purity. And the result of such a failure obviously disappointed Chen Wei. Forget it, a week has passed, it's time to go to the Buddha Refining Tower to gather some. No, it's time to go to the Buddha Refining Tower to break through the barriers and gain experience. After the painful lesson last time, Chen Wei decided to endure it, break through the inheritance trial at the fastest speed, climb to the top of the Buddha list, and then successfully enter the 9th level training room of the Buddha Tower Source Star Realm. Break through your own Source Star to the 5th level at the fastest speed, and then you may be able to strengthen the top dragon crystals above the advanced level. For this reason, the plan of Taode's devouring can only be temporarily delayed. As for the future, Chen Wei plans to find a suitable emperor beast for Taode to devour in the inheritance trial before the Buddha Refining Tower is closed. Buzz, Chen Wei looked at the dozens of Zui ranking challenge messages displayed on his phone, frowned slightly, and then slowly relaxed. Forget it, before breaking through, let's deal with these challengers first. In a beautifully decorated luxury villa, Gao Jingsheng looked at the messages displayed on his phone and smiled. Beside him, the woman in Cheongsam raised her eyebrows slightly. Brother, did Chen Wei accept your challenge? Yes, Gao Jingsheng looked up at his sister. But, big brother, didn't you always want to make friends with Chen Wei? Only by showing your strength can you gain the respect and friendship of others, and pet battles are the best way to show your strength. At this point, Gao Jingsheng clenched his fists confidently. I do have a low chance of winning this battle challenged by Zui, but if I can get in touch with Chen Wei through this, I will be sure to become his friend. On the other side, as the tabby stone badger put away its bloody claws, a giant golden rainbow bear with large cuts on its body and seemingly bleeding fell to the ground in the eyes of the Beastmaster, who was full of worry. Healer. Healer. There are pets here that need treatment, the Beastmaster hurriedly called for help. Weak, too weak. As a famous Beastmaster genius, you can't even make my stone badger excited. You are just a name for nothing. Peng Yu looked at the panicked opponent and turned away in boredom. Hey, interesting, I finally accepted the challenge. As expected, the battle with the number 1 on the Zui list is worth looking forward to. Peng Yu took out a vibrating mobile phone in his trouser pocket, and raised a bloody smile at the corner of his mouth. In addition to Gao Jingsheng and Peng Yu, some other Zitan students who received the battle notification information also began to gear up, trying to defeat Chen Wei, the freshman with the most gimmicks in history, to establish their own reputation. However, because the challenge of the Zui list is open, some students found that Chen Wei actually arranged the matches of all challengers tonight. Could it be that Senior Chen Wei plans to defeat 8 challengers in a short period of time, without rest, and use round-robin battles to prove his unrivaled strength? Chen Wei's followers couldn't help but comment excitedly on the official website. Impossible. Those 8 challengers are all talented beastmasters ranked in the top 10 of the Zui list. If they fight continuously, no matter how powerful the Master Beastmaster is, he will eventually lose, unless Chen Wei is a King Beastmaster, 19 years old. King Beastmaster, the people above are joking, They were the first to joke. Each Beastmaster ranked in the top 10 of the SYNOPSIS list has a powerful combat power comparable to that of a Master Beastmaster, or even close to that of a King Beastmaster. How can it be possible to fight 8 without rest? I estimate that the 8 games tonight will last at least one day, and amid the discussions, night finally fell, and the SYNOPSIS challenge, which many students have been looking forward to, is about to begin. P.S. Thank you to the book friend 20220924070830896 for the reward of 800 starting coins. Thank you for the reward of 152 starting coins from Reading Is So Hard, and finally thank you all for voting and subscribing. Chapter 444, 1 vs Many. The Battle Square is the most visited place in SYNOPSIS University. Whether it is a Beastmaster who likes to fight, hone his pets, and achieve breakthroughs, or Beastmaster who likes to watch the battle and place bets, you can find them here. And tonight, the already crowded Battle Square has been squeezed into a large number of freshmen. The noisy crowd's discussion made the whole venue lively, and even many students who were fighting with their pets on the battle stage chose to pause the competition and turn their attention to the upcoming SYNOPSIS ranking challenge. The boss will win, a Beastmaster with a lion badge on his chest shouted loudly. Is that someone from Gaoling Battle Club? The gentle girl tilted her head and looked in the direction of the voice. Yes, Sister Zilmin, that guy is Luminji, the second person of Gaoling Battle Club, ranked 11th on the SYNOPSIS ranking, with a 4th level late-stage source star cultivation, and his trump pet is Haodian Mengshi, Yu Xianglu introduced. Don't worry, even Han Wuguang is not the president's opponent. A group of Beastmasters who can't even defeat Han Wuguang are just rotten fish and shrimps even if they are mixed together, Shu Xinglan said lightly. But the president accepted the challenge of 8 people at once, including Go Jingshen, who is 4th on the SYNOPSIS list. Wu Sixi showed a trace of worry in his eyes. Yu Zilman's calm and confident voice sounded, believe in the president, Chen Wei will never do anything without confidence. We just need to wait for the results. On the other side, on the high platform in the audience, Su Chengshan held a Chongsam woman in his arms and looked at the position where Yu Zilman and his group were. Is this the Ziksha club established by senior brother Chen Wei? The strength of the members seems to be very different. The new students with no strength occupy the high positions, and the strong old students are reduced to subordinates. If they continue to manage like this, within a few months, the Ziksha club will definitely have internal strife, the woman said disdainfully. You're overthinking. If it was a club founded by an ordinary Beastmaster, this situation would still be possible. As long as senior brother Chen Wei is the president of Ziksha club, this club will not be in chaos. Su Chengshan shook his head. If he hadn't been accepted as a disciple by Grandmaster Han, it would be difficult for him to take action. He would definitely have intervened in such a lively scene as today. You lunatic are here too. At the challenge seat, Gao Jingsheng looked at Peng Yu, who was excluded by the crowd and stood out from the crowd, with a surprised look in his eyes. Although Peng Yu is only ranked 10th on the SYNOPSIS list, because of his cruel fighting style of exchanging injuries for injuries, the students of SYNOPSIS University would rather challenge Duan Yubo, who is ranked 9th on the SYNOPSIS list, than challenge Peng Yu. Hearing this, Peng Yu lazily looked up at Go Jingsheng without any intention of refutation. The winner is the king. Even if he doesn't like Go Jingsheng, who is smooth-talking and good at dancing, he has to shut up when he's not as strong as others. What exactly does Chen Wei want to do by accepting the challenge of 8 people at once? Duan Yubo waved the feather fan in his hand, with a puzzled tone. He had no intention of challenging Chen Wei, and was even a little happy to see such a famous new star in SYNOPSIS University. But Chen Wei's ranking on the Buddha list has always been ranked 15th, and he has always been suppressed by Long Wenshi of Tenglong College. This made Duan Yubo, who has a strong sense of collective honor, a little uneasy. In his opinion, as the top of the SYNOPSIS list, Chen Wei must occupy the top 5 in the Buddha list. In addition to defeating us and successfully defending the title, what other purpose can there be? A beautiful girl in a red dress pointed out the essence. Ningji, a senior student in the 2nd class of the 5th year of Beast Control, ranked 5th on the SYNOPSIS list, and her source star cultivation was at the peak of the 4th level. She once defeated the Master Beastmaster of Cheheron University in the National College Beast Control competition in an extreme 1-for-1 manner, defending the ranking of SYNOPSIS University last year, and was the goddess in the minds of many SYNOPSIS University students. To successfully defend his title, Chen Wei only needs to accept 2 or 3 challenges. He is doing this now either for demonstration or to hone himself through different opponents. Peng Yu suddenly spoke. Do you mean that Chen Wei is going to break through again? As Ningji said this, the atmosphere in the challenge seat suddenly became solidified. If it were someone else, these 8 arrogant geniuses would definitely sneer at him, but if it was Chen Wei, everyone present would feel depressed. They challenged Chen Wei for different purposes, but they were definitely not to become a stepping stone for Chen Wei's breakthrough. Chen Wei is here. With a cry from the audience, the students in the battle square looked in the direction of the sound. The crowded crowd suddenly made way for a wide road. Under the gaze of countless eyes, Chen Wei, dressed in white, slowly walked onto the battle stage. What a handsome young man! Ningji's beautiful eyes lit up slightly. It is better to meet in person than to hear about him. Compared with Chen Wei in the video, he is now more noble and elegant. I will preside over this match. Please challengers in the order of application. Seeing that both players have arrived, LV who is acting as the referee, waved his hand, and 2 screens slowly rose on both sides of the battle stage. The huge screens instantly reflected the clear images on the stage. Next, let's invite the defender Chen Wei and the challenger Peng Yu to the stage. However, before LV began to introduce the rules, Chen Wei raised his arm to interrupt him. Professor Liu, I have an idea. It's too slow to come one by one. How about letting all 8 challengers come on stage together? If Chen Wei wants to maintain his top ranking on the Zui list and get high credits, he must accept challenges from many students every once in a while, which will more or less affect his source star cultivation and dragon power strengthening. Not to mention that he plans to retreat in the Futa Beast Refining Tower for half a year. In order to avoid unnecessary and complicated battles, Chen Wei decided to prove his strength with absolute strength. As for whether this behavior would offend people, Chen Wei, who now has a Grandmaster Alchemist as his backer, doesn't care. This is against the rules. LV pupils shrank when he noticed Chen Wei's intention, and he decisively refused. Regardless of whether Chen Wei was really confident that he could fight against many people alone or was just trying to attract attention, he would not allow the ranking competition of the Zui ranking to start in such an unreasonable way. At the same time, hearing Chen Wei's bold words, the 8 Beastmasters in the challenge seat looked at each other with a hint of doubt in their eyes. What did they just hear? Chen Wei actually dared to challenge the 8 of them on his own. You know, if the 8 of them joined forces to fight, even a 6th level King Beastmaster would have a certain probability of being defeated, not to mention Chen Wei, a 4th level Beastmaster of the Source Star. Are you inflated? Ningji frowned slightly, and her impression of Chen Wei fell to the bottom. Chapter 445 Emperor True Dragon. There's a good show to watch, although the distance was a bit far. Su Chengshan, who was standing in the audience, could still hear Chen Wei's speech clearly. It was impossible for Su Chengshan not to be jealous of Chen Wei, a senior brother younger than himself. It's just that he clearly knew what he could do and what he couldn't do. In addition to Su Chengshan, many senior students with sensitive perception and strong cultivation began to frown. Crazy, too crazy. The geniuses of Zidian University gathered together, and geniuses of all kinds of personalities had appeared, but this was the first time they had seen such a crazy genius. The record of defeating Han Wuguang is indeed very strong, but this is not a reason for you to be so arrogant. Do you know that Han Wuguang was also defeated by me? A man with slightly purple hair and long eyebrows like willows stepped forward and said. This person was Yu Kancheng, who ranked 5th on the Zui list and was the strongest freshman 5 years ago. Is it useful to say so much? I just want to have a hearty battle. Regardless of Yu Kancheng's ugly face, Peng Yu directly stepped onto the ring. If you are not afraid of being hurt by mistake, you can come with me. Hearing this, several challengers showed a hint of desire on their faces. They challenged Chen Wei not to win, but to test Chen Wei's depth and prepare for next year's National Beast competition. But now it is not a bad choice to bring Chen Wei down. It's just that the risk is a bit high. If they win, it's fine. If they lose with more people, I'm afraid they won't have the face to stay in Rosewood University. So in Chen Wei's expectant eyes, only Peng Yu was on the battle stage, and the other 7 people were still sitting in the challenge seat waiting quietly. It seems that no one is coming up. Peng Yu's eyes flashed with excitement. What a pity. Chen Wei sighed in his heart, raised his right hand, and the star ring on his finger burst out with a strong white light. Roar, in the dazzling summoning array, with a burst of blood-colored flames rising into the sky, Teodi, emitting a majestic dragon power, appeared on the battle stage. The terrifying pressure made the noisy battle square silent in an instant. However, facing this unprecedented terrifying dragon, Peng Yu not only did not retreat, but summoned his trump card pet, Tabby Badger. It was a badger-like beast with a body length of only 3 meters, rough black fur, and a layer of conjunctival sebum under the fur. Its head was wide, its eyebrows were like golden rocks, its eyes were very small, and there were crystals inlaid on its nose. There was a violent airflow flowing around when it breathed. But compared to these, what Chen Wei was most concerned about was the blood-red claws of the tabby badger that seemed to be dyed with blood and the golden crystal patterns on both sides of its body that looked like horns. Name of pet, tabby badger. Attributes of pet, wind, earth, racial level, brilliant king, strength level, upper level 4, racial skills, blood-stained claws, unyielding will, hurricane claws, crystal-shaped body, king's pressure. Introduction to pet. As the king of the badger family, the tabby badger not only has a defense that can be called a copper mountain iron wall, but also has a bold and ruthless character. Note, this kind of strange beast is extremely vengeful, and once offended, the outcome is a fight to the death. After Chen Wei used the delusion-breaking spirit eye to confirm the information of the tabby badger, a bit of disappointment flashed in his eyes. The battle begins. In order to prevent Chen Wei from causing any more trouble, Lu Zizhen blew the whistle decisively. Charge forward with the blood-stained claws. Hearing Peng Yu's order, the tabby badger's eyes flashed with a fierce light, and he took the initiative to charge at the Taote. Unlike other beasts that would be intimidated by dragons, the tabby badger was born with a brain defect and was never afraid of coercion skills, but the strange thing was that it would be hurt by mental skills. Defeated, Taote, Chen Wei conveyed his thoughts without any intention of commanding. Upon hearing this, the anti-source defense system in Taote's body was immediately activated, and the surging mechanical source power surged from the heart of the mechanical dragon, and then spread all over the body, and a layer of impeccable black defense shield suddenly emerged. Looking at the giant dragon that stood still without dodging or evading, the tabby badger did not hesitate, and the heavy earth source power dyed its terrifying claws yellow in the blink of an eye. Boom! With a loud bang, the astonishing energy storm swept out in all directions like a tidal wave. How is it possible? When the smoke and dust cleared, the 7 challengers in the challenge seat couldn't help but widen their eyes as they watched the Taote standing still and unscathed on the stage. Everyone present had fought against Peng Yu's tabby badger. Although the badger's strength was only at the upper level of the 4th level, its terrifying claws were enough to tear through the stubborn defense of the 5th level Earth-type beast. And this blow that could penetrate everything hit the Taote, but it didn't even have a shallow scar. This powerful defense alone has exceeded the limit of the 5th level beast and has almost reached the level of the 6th level king. Gao Jingsheng's forehead was covered with cold sweat. If the attack strength and defense ability of this unknown dragon are at the same level, perhaps his confidence in fighting 8 people alone is not false. Hearing Gao Jingsheng's murmur, the faces of everyone present changed. If a 4th level pet is the defense and attack strength of a 6th level beast, then this pet is just a 6th level beast with a slightly inferior strength, except that it is not at a high enough level and cannot transform the vast source power between heaven and earth for its own use. Ningji, who previously thought that Chen Wei was too arrogant, quickly took out the source energy glasses from the star ring and put them on. Ding. Pet name unknown. Normal source energy value 50,000. Seeing the source energy value of Taote, Ningji's eyes showed a hint of surprise. Judging from the breath, the strength of this black dragon is not high. The source energy value can reach 50,000, which means that Chen Wei's pet is either a 4th level overlord or a 3rd level emperor. In terms of power, Han Wuguang's Kingaya Wood Dragon is obviously of a higher level, but it is completely inferior to the dragon in front of him. Emperor Real Dragon. Ningji couldn't help but tremble at the thought of this terrifying possibility. Any beast that has something to do with a real dragon is worth a lot of money, not to mention a real dragon of the emperor race, which is a treasure that even legendary strongmen have to fight for. If Chen Wei really has the terrifying talent of contracting an emperor real dragon, the gap in strength between them has not only not narrowed because of age, but has opened up a desperate gap. Just when Ningji's mind was lost, Taote looked at the flat stone badger tickling him at his feet, and stretched out his dragon claws that covered the sky and the sun in a simple and unpretentious manner. Juang Dragon Claw. This is a terrifying blow that is enough to kill a 5th level beast instantly. The fair stone badger couldn't even resist at this moment, and all its defenses were crushed. P.S. Thanks to the book friend 20170109212435853 for the reward of 100 starting coins. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 446 Xianlong Bamboo Island. Chen Wei is still hiding something. Yu Kangcheng and Zhu Yuanqing looked at each other with a look of difficulty on their faces. In order to defeat the 4th level dragon and the dragon puppet, they had made sufficient preparations. Who knew that Chen Wei actually hid a real dragon of unknown strength level? Originally, their confidence in defeating Chen Wei was not high. With another pet with unknown information, this challenge would be even more difficult. Although the advanced energy glasses they wore could detect pet information and quickly obtain intelligence, when encountering some unknown beasts that are good at hiding and have high race levels, the data monitored by the energy glasses would be inconsistent. The 50,000 normal energy value of this dragon seems very high, but in the normal energy table of pets published by the Beast Taming Association, the normal energy value of the 5th level king race is as high as 80,000 to 120,000. Even Yu Kangcheng's recently broken through to the 5th level upper king pet, Flying Snow Zunbao, has a normal energy value of 110,000. Otherwise, he would not have challenged Chen Wei and won the top spot on the Zui ranking. But even though the normal energy value of the Fixu Zunbao is nearly twice as high as that of the Black Dragon on the battle stage, the difference in combat power between the two sides is still a world of difference. This made Yu Kangcheng subconsciously suspect that Chen Wei's third pet was the Emperor Real Dragon above the Overlord, and he suddenly backed off. If the challenge application had not been announced by the school, and it would be a disgrace to retreat without a battle, he would have stood up and left long ago. Peng Yu lost, Gao Jingsheng whispered softly. Even though he has always been confident in Chen Wei's future, Chen Wei is too homely and has basically rejected all the students' party invitations in socializing. He wanted to find a suitable time to cut in and develop friendship, but he couldn't do it. He could only be familiar with the surface, but his network resources could not be connected. If Chen Wei hadn't been unyielding during this period, he would not have thought of using the Zui ranking challenge to break the deadlock. As a result, Chen Wei's strength is now more terrifying day by day. If this continues, I'm afraid that in less than a year, Chen Wei will become the uncrowned king in the eyes of the students of Zidin University. The interest structure that the major societies have set up on Xianlong Bamboo Island deep in the Red Sand Mountain Range may be broken in no time. Chen Wei is too strong. It seems that we have to take the initiative to pull Zixia society in to share the interests of Xianlong Bamboo Island, otherwise it will be difficult to deal with a quarrel over interests. Thinking of this, although Gao Jingsheng felt that the share of Gaoling Battle Group would be reduced, as long as he could pull Chen Wei and the major societies to discuss sharing the cake of the Red Sand Mountain Range instead of turning the table, he would accept it. At this time, the battle on the battle stage had already been decided, and the Tabby Badger's all-out resistance seemed particularly weak in the eyes of Teodi. If it weren't for Chen Wei's request not to kill the other party's pet, Teodi would have beaten the Tabby Badger into a pool of meat paste with just one encounter. However, even if Teodi let it go, a shrill wail continued to sound at the core of its dragon claw power bombardment. Soon, the badger, covered in blood, with a broken right arm and shattered hind legs, spewing blood from its mouth, appeared in front of everyone as if it had been hit by a meteorite. Did I hit it too hard? Seeing the miserable state of the badger, Chen Wei frowned slightly and tilted his head to look at Teodi. Roar, it did it itself, Teodi explained with a low roar. If the badger fell down without resisting, its Zhuang Dragon Claw would only make the opponent lose its fighting power. Unfortunately, the Badger clan is all crazy. They are obviously unable to win but still insist on fighting, even if this behavior will cause themselves to be seriously injured. Winner, Chen Wei, please ask contestant Peng Yu to send out the next pet, Lu Zizun announced. No, I give up. The pet was killed in the battle, and the pet was seriously injured, but Peng Yu could not help but not angry. Instead, he smiled and walked forward to pick up the badger. He ignored the blood of his pet and stained his clothes red, staring at Teodi with a pair of excited eyes. Yes, this is the power he has been pursuing. Peng Yu, hey, President, are we still recruiting people in Zixia Club? Hearing this, Chen Wei was slightly startled. He was still fighting in the last second, and he was going to join his team in the next second. This guy is really flexible. Ziksha Club has been recruiting people. As long as you submit an application, students who meet the admission standards can enter, Chen Wei said. With so many students gathered in the battle square now, he certainly doesn't mind advertising his Ziksha Club. Lu Zixian, congratulations to Chen Wei for choosing to defend the title successfully. Will Chen Wei choose to take a break for a while or start the next challenge immediately? Start the next challenge. After speaking, Chen Wei looked at the 7 people sitting in the challenge seat. Except for Yu Kancheng, Gao Jingsheng and Ning Ji, who were still eager to fight, the other 4 challengers avoided Chen Wei's eyes slightly. Obviously, after witnessing a battle with a huge difference in strength, Zhu Yuanqing and others did not lose their fighting spirit, but they also had the idea of playing badly. Chen Wei glanced at the application list. If nothing unexpected happens, his next opponent will be Zhu Yuanqing, who is ranked 8th on the Zhui list. Next, let's welcome the next challenger Zhu Yuanqing with warm applause. Lu Zixian began to applaud. Amid the long-lasting applause, Zhu Yuanqing walked onto the stage with his head held high. He has a full understanding of his own strength. This time he challenged Chen Wei mainly to show his prestige and gain fame, rather than to replace Chen Wei. Apart from anything else, as long as he can defeat Chen Wei's initial pet, Kongming Shuangjiao, even if he fails in the final challenge, it will be enough for him to win a lot of praise. Who knew that the last one to appear was a terrifying black dragon of unknown strength level? Without saying much, Chen Wei waited quietly according to the process. Just as the battle was about to begin, Zhu Yuanqing raised his arms and said, "Wait, anyway, they were all going to be beaten as stepping stones." He couldn't be beaten alone, so none of the good brothers who encouraged him to challenge Chen Wei could escape. Maybe he could take this opportunity to make friends with this future rising star and leave some affection. If they were lucky enough to defeat Chen Wei, maybe the 3 of them could also go down in history like the 3 epic masters Liu, Guan, and Zhang. "Are you serious about going together?" Zhu Yuanqing said seriously. Chen Wei looked at him in surprise. "Of course, no matter how many people go on the field, as long as you can beat me, the top position on the Zhui ranking will be given to you. Understood, big brother, second brother, come up and fight side by side with Yuanqing." As Zhu Yuanqing shouted, Kong Wei and Feng Xiaoming on the challenge seat suddenly turned black. What is the third brother doing? Pig brain. It's okay if he can't beat the freshman in a single fight, but if he loses to Chen Wei in a 3-on-1 fight in public, wouldn't he lose face? Chapter 447 Three Kings. There was no other way. After all, Zhu Yuanqing was their sworn brother. Kong Wei and Feng Xiaoming, who were roasted on the fire, had to slowly walk onto the battle stage under the expectant gaze of the crowd. As the saying goes, those who watch the excitement are not afraid of trouble. Chen Wei's feat of fighting 3 people alone immediately made the entire battle square burst into applause. Hearing the thunderous applause, the 3 of them looked at each other, white light flashed between their fingers, and under the dazzling summoning array, 3 pets with extraordinary momentum suddenly appeared. These 3 pets were a lion, an eagle, and a cow. The golden lion was standing on the ground, with eyes like 2 rubies full of majesty, and a pair of wings on its back that seemed to be burning with flames trembled slightly, and the temperature of the battle stage began to rise sharply. This lion with amazing momentum was the king beast, winged flame golden lion, that Chen Wei had seen in the teacher's secret realm, and its strength was at the lower level of the 5th level. On the right side of the golden lion, there was a bull 5 meters long, with purple crystal horns on top of its head that were even longer and larger than its head, blood-red eyes, strong muscles, 2 huge purple crystal feet under its sturdy limbs, and the fur on its back was like a giant bull with its head slightly lowered and ready to fight. Pet name, Purple Crystal Mist Bull. Pet attributes, Crystal, Earth, racial level, Brilliant King, strength level, lower level 5, racial skills, Purple Crystal Body, Crystal Mist Binding, Extreme Sprint, Secret Crystal Defense. In addition to the Golden Lion and the Mist Bull standing guard one after the other, there was another flying in the sky over the battle arena. Like a figure moving in a stream of light. Name of pet, Lightning Flame Eagle. Attributes of pet, Thunder, Fire, racial level, Brilliant King, strength level, lower level 5, racial skills, Starstream Thunder Strike, Electric Current, Thunder Blade, Thunder and Fire Blast. Top among the 3 pets, the Purple Crystal Mist Bull is the pet with the weakest attack ability. It lacks the means to kill with 1 blow, but it has strong defense and control capabilities. As long as it is close to the opponent, the purple Crystal Mist Bull can use Crystal Mist to restrict the opponent's range of activities. It is a pet with both control and defense. As for the Winged Flame Golden Lion, which can fly and has strong attack capabilities, it is a famous strong attack type pet. The powerful Golden Lion Yangayan is enough to melt gold fossils and burn the opponent's defense. The last Lightning Flame Eagle has excellent observation and sniping abilities. The iconic racial skill Starstream Thunder Strike makes the Lightning Flame Eagle clan surpass most of the king beasts in terms of flying speed. Looking at these 3 5th-level beasts with both offense and defense, Chen Wei finally became interested. The 5th-level command beasts in the wild cannot pose any threat to Teodi, but the 5th-level king beasts gathered together are different. In addition, with the 3 4th-level peak beast masters commanding with their minds, if Chen Wei is too careless, it is possible that Teodi will suffer a loss. As for the possibility of failure, even if Chen Wei does not command with his mind, 3 5th-level lower-level pets alone will definitely not be able to defeat Teodi with its luxurious skills. What a mess. Lu Zizhen looked at the situation on the battlefield and couldn't help but sigh. Reason told him that he needed to stop this unreasonable battle in time and then continue the game according to the rules of the Zhui ranking challenge. But his emotion told him that the top 2 places on the Future ranking were currently occupied by Chihuahua University and Jinhua University, and Zidane University urgently needed a leader. If Chen Wei could defeat the geniuses on his own and defend the top position on the Zhui ranking with unstoppable power, it would definitely inspire the momentum of Zidane University students. While Lu Zizhen was struggling over whether to stop the battle, Zhu Yuanqing had already ordered his pet, the lightning-breaking flame eagle, to attack. Boom! As the lightning-breaking flame eagle soared into the sky, its momentum exploded, and a muffled sound came from the sky. The dark clouds instantly covered the entire sky, and dazzling lightning flashed in the clouds, as if brewing some terrifying attack. The winged flame golden lion spread its wings, and endless flames burst out from it. Its sturdy body turned into a beam of fire and rushed towards the Teodi with a roaring flame at lightning speed. The purple crystal mist bull was not idle either. Under the command of the Beastmaster, it, which was not good at speed, began to close the distance from the side, and used the crystal mist binding skill to leave waves of purple mist on the battle stage to restrain the enemy. Do you want to launch a siege? Chen Wei did not command, but tilted his head to look at the Teodi. He was very curious about how the Teodi would defeat his opponent. Under the expectant gaze of the crowd, Teodi slightly raised his head, and the huge dragon wings behind him spread out, ignoring the sudden attack of the winged flame golden lion and the amethyst mist bull, and clearly pointed his target at the lightning flame eagle that was attracting thunder in the sky. Stop it! Seeing this, Zhu Yuanqing and the other 2 changed their expressions. The longer the lightning flame eagle accumulates its power, the more powerful the thunder and firebombing skill will be. If the winged flame golden lion and the amethyst mist bull can hold the black dragon back, and delay the lightning flame eagle's skill brewing time for 10 minutes, even defeating this black dragon is not impossible. But the bulky amethyst mist bull can't fly at all, so Kong Wei had to let the winged flame golden lion with a faster sudden attack speed intercept it. Winged flame meteorite strike, the winged flame golden lion roared, and the source power burst out of his body. The terrifying flames formed an illusory majestic lion under the control of his will, and the momentum was not lower than that of Teodi. Boom! Looking at the golden lion sprinting at high speed, like a meteorite hitting, Teodi relied on the semi-finished legendary domain and the flawless defense composed of super-limit dragon scales and energy storage, and did not even activate the anti-source defense system. The dragon claws covered with black crystals suddenly expanded at a speed visible to the naked eye. When the winged flame golden lion rushed in front of Teodi, the dragon claws of Teodi, which had doubled and deformed, had reached a terrifying length of dozens of meters. In contrast, the winged flame golden lion, which was only 5 meters long, seemed particularly petite. Even the majestic lion composed of the golden lion Yangayan behind it began to show signs of collapse under the terrifying power of Teodi. No, in Kong Wei's unwilling eyes, Teodi's dragon claws tore through the space and caught the flames of the winged flame golden lion by force. Boom! Endless flames burst out, and the winged flame golden lion, whose throat was strangled by Teodi, tried to use the exploding golden lion Yangayan to break free from the restraints of the dragon claws. But the raging flames that could severely injure the 5th level commanding beast and even threaten its fall seemed insignificant in the eyes of Teodi, who had opened the legendary realm at this time. Even Tamed only exerted a little force, and 3 black claws pierced through the body of the winged flame golden lion, and red blood dripped from the sky. Still defeated, seeing the golden lion falling powerlessly from the sky, Chen Wei's pupils shrank slightly. On the other side, the lightning flame eagle, seeing the bad situation, quickly cancelled the charge. The next second, under the astonished gaze of countless spectators, a giant pillar of thunder with a diameter of 30 meters and emitting a magnificent power of heaven fell towards Tamed. Chapter 448 Return the Favor. Boom, violent lightning flashed across the space. Sparks burst, thunder exploded, and the terrifying high temperature of the thunder hitting the ground even caused the solid ground of the battle platform to melt. In the eyes of everyone, the domineering and arrogant black dragon seemed to be punished by heaven. The dazzling thunder illuminated the huge screens on both sides of the battle platform into blue light. Legendary field, Lu Zizhen's pupils shrank, and a trace of horror flashed in his eyes. As an epic master, he naturally knew the horror of the legendary Emperor Beast. There is a saying in the beast control world that everyone below the king is an ant, but only epic masters know how huge the gap is between the 7th level epic and the 8th level legend. Although the 7th and 8th levels are only 1 level apart, this gap is even far greater than the comparison between the larval pet and the 6th level king. According to the historical records of Donghu country, there is almost no epic master who can defeat the Emperor Beast across levels by his own strength. Only Emperor Qin is the only exception in history. There is no one else. From this point, we can know the dominance of the Emperor Beast over the Overlord Beast. Although the source energy values of the Overlord race and the Emperor race beasts are very different, the reason for the overwhelming strength gap is the iconic legendary domain of the Emperor Beast, which is a terrifying domain that can only be awakened after the Emperor race beasts enter the 8th level. Even in the Donghu Kingdom, which is now in the era of beast control, if you want an epic strongman to defeat a powerful Emperor Beast, you need at least several regiments of elite beast masters to use beast control to cooperate. And according to the different qualifications of the beasts, the time for each Emperor Beast to awaken the legendary domain after breaking through the 8th level is as long as 100 years, or as short as a few months. Judging from the battle situation, the strength of the Emperor Black Dragon contracted by Chen Wei is obviously not up to the 8th level legend, otherwise Chen Wei would have died long ago when the source star collapsed. Thinking of this, Lu Zizhen's mind moved, and a majestic mental power burst out instantly. A semi-finished legendary realm? Chen Wei is indeed the son of destiny in folk rumors. He can actually contract a gifted Emperor Black Dragon, but the normal source energy value is a little bit short. Lu Zizhen's face was full of envy. Although there are not many examples of Emperor pets awakening to the legendary realm in advance, there are records in history. In short, if the Emperor Beast that can awaken the prototype of the legendary realm before the 8th level is compared with human beast masters, it can be said to be a peerless genius among billions. And the Emperor Beast does not have as much foundation as the human beast master. Master Han really cares for Chen Wei, this evil disciple, and even gave him the 7th level top grade elixir, Yangxing Huandan, that can greatly increase the strength of the beast master's source star. Lu Zizhen felt so sour at this moment. He is an epic master. Although his strength is not the top in Zidian University, he is also the backbone of the school. Even so, if Lu Zizhen wants to exchange a 7th grade top grade elixir, he has to spend a quarter of his wealth. And he may not be able to exchange it. Zidian University is the holy land of medicine refining in Donghu country, but even if a master-level alchemist refines a 7th grade top grade elixir, there is a very high failure rate. Not every beast master can buy it if he wants to. Generally, only epic masters with the title of full professor are eligible to exchange. As for why Lu Zizhen is so sure that Chen Wei has taken the Yangxing Huandan, it is because under normal circumstances, the source star of the beast master needs to be above the 5th level to be qualified to contract the Emperor's pet. Unless the beast master has the innate talent of strengthening the source star, and Chen Wei's innate talent is well known to everyone, it is a spiritual immutation talent. Note that the source star is above the 5th level is just a qualification. When the Emperor's pet is weak and is willing to limit its own power and actively maintain a beast contract, the beast master's source star is enough. But there is no Emperor beast in this world that limits its own power for human beast masters. Some Emperor beasts agreed to contract with beast masters mainly to shorten the long growth period of the Emperor race. So in theory, in fact, The Beastmasters who can contract Emperor Beasts are all legendary strongmen. In history, the 6th level kings who can pick up the opportunity to contract Emperor Beasts are already super lucky in the eyes of many Beastmasters. And Chen Wei contracted an Emperor Beast at the 4th level of awakens. Faced with such a cruel reality, even the experienced and battle-hardened Lu Zizhen couldn't help but lose his composure. No wonder Chen Wei dared to fight 8 alone. This Emperor Dragon with a prototype of the legendary field alone is enough to sweep all the students. It won't be too difficult to win the national championship for the school next year. Lu Zizhen took a deep breath. Boom! As the raging thunder gradually subsided, Tamed appeared in front of everyone with a trace of lightning on its body, but its dragon scales were intact. Impossible, the lightning flame eagle has been accumulating strength for 2 minutes, how could it not even break the defense? Zhu Yuanqing subconsciously took a step back, with a hint of fear in his eyes. Seeing that his opponent had lost his courage, Chen Wei nodded slightly. The lightning flame eagle, which is good at flying and can hide in the dark clouds, can use its innate air superiority to mobilize the thunder and fire source power between heaven and earth to charge and attack the opponent. It is an extremely difficult king beast, but the speed of thunder is not faster than the reaction speed of Tamed. If Chen Wei had not wanted to kill the chicken to scare the monkey, fully demonstrate the strength of Tamed, and reduce more challengers, this battle would actually only take a few minutes to end, and Tamed would not have to stand still and endure the opponent's attack. After all, the strength of the real dragon is all round. If you really want to compare the flying speed, Tamed can completely catch up with the lightning flame eagle. After all, Tamed is not comparable to the purple crystal fogbowl on the ground of the battle arena, which is stupid and unable to fly. It can only rely on a burst of strength to rush into the sky and is unwilling to land. But there is no way. Before they advance to the 6th level king and can freely mobilize all the source power of heaven and earth, most ground beasts cannot fly freely in the sky. Deal with it, Chen Wei gave an order, and the huge wings behind Tamed suddenly burst into strong lightning. Strands of terrifying lightning bloomed dazzlingly under the black crystal-like dragon scales. Is this the breath of thunder and fire? Zhu Yuanqing was shocked. No way. The next moment, under the unbelievable eyes of Zhu Yuanqing and the other two, a terrifying thunder with a diameter of more than 50 meters and a lightning light that turned from blue to dark rose from the dragon wings of Tamed and attacked the dense dark clouds in the sky with lightning. Starstream Thunder Strike, Zhu Yuanqing ordered hurriedly, trying to let the lightning eagle use the extremely fast speed of Starstream Thunder Strike to dodge this obviously more powerful attack. However, the target locked by the Tamed with energy storage could not avoid this extremely fast attack after all. Chapter 449 Pay attention to all parties. Li, with a shrill howl, the dense dark clouds in the sky suddenly split apart, and a burnt body, with a faint smell of burned, like a steamed lightning eagle fell from the sky. It is hard to imagine that a lightning eagle, which is good at thunder and fire attacks and has a strong immunity, would be defeated by his own skills. Very good, there is only one left. Chen Wei cast his eyes on the purple crystal mist bowl, who was stunned on the battle stage and completely unable to participate in the battle. Sensing Chen Wei's sight, the purple crystal mist bowl's body stiffened. Looking at the winged flame golden lion that was bleeding next to it, and the lightning eagle that exuded the smell of meat and made it drool, the purple crystal mist bowl ignored the ugly face of the Beastmaster and began to act. As a king race beast, the intelligence of the purple crystal mist bowl is not lower than that of humans. At this moment, it seemed to have suffered some invisible attack, and let out a sharp bull roar, and then its limbs softened and fainted directly on the ground, revealing a slightly fragile belly. There is no way. Both teammates have fallen. If you don't want to be roasted beef on the battle stage, you'd better admit defeat as soon as possible. As for the opinion of the Beastmaster, the purple crystal mist bowl selectively ignored it. The Beastmaster contract does not mean that the Beastmaster has complete control over the pet. The pet also has a small part of its own freedom. Feng Xiaoming saw the action made by his pet, and he was a little embarrassed. He felt that he had lost face, but he didn't think of punishing the purple crystal mist bowl. After all, this is just a battle, not a training battlefield. If you lose when your strength is far inferior to others, you lose. If you really punish it in this way, if you break up, maybe the purple crystal mist bowl will choose to play badly in the future, secretly let it go when it is following orders, and deliberately make trouble. Not to mention deepening the bond and controlling the legendary bond coordination. In fact, There are very few high-species pets like the colorful spirit Teodi and Donghua that completely obey the orders of the Beastmaster. Most pets will have more or less conflicts because of the uneven distribution of resources by the Beastmaster. It was also the first time that Chen Wei saw such a sensible pet, but his acting was a bit bad. Ahem, looking at the ridiculous farce in front of him, Lu Zizhan couldn't help but cough lightly. Kong Wei even raised his arms and admitted defeat directly. There was no other way. If it dragged on, his winged flame golden lion would bleed to death. Seeing that the eldest brother chose to surrender, Zhu Yuanqing and Feng Xiaoming were too embarrassed to continue. Chen Wei looked at the remaining 4 people in the challenge seed and said, "Why don't you all come together?" "I don't mind." Hearing this, Yu Kangchen, Gao Jingshen, Ningji and Duan Yubo's faces suddenly turned black. "Even if you don't mind, we still do. It's okay if 4 against 1 wins, but if you lose, then you will lose face and dignity." After thinking for a while, Duan Yubo spun the feather fan in his hand, clasped his fists and said to Chen Wei, "There is no need for a fight. I am willing to admit defeat." Seeing that Chen Wei defeated the confidence of the 9th place on the Ziwei list with only 2 matches. The freshman in the audience stood up and shouted Chen Wei's name. In an instant, the entire battle square was filled with warm cheers. "My senior brother is really impressive." Su Chengshin looked at the students around him with red cheeks and couldn't help but sigh. "My Yatong, how confident are you against this genius that is rare in 1,000 years, sexy, charming, and full of mature temperament?" Luo Wei looked at the black dragon on the screen, and frowned slightly. This highly popular challenge is not only of great concern to Zidin University, but also to the teachers and students of the other 4 famous universities and 8 colleges. They all stopped the Futu challenge tonight, intending to see the value of the first place in Ziwei through the competition. In fact, if Zidin University, as the host, had not provided many students with the experience of the pagoda, it would have been difficult for the guests to cause trouble. I am afraid that students who are eager for fame would have come to challenge Chen Wei long ago. With a sword on her waist and dragon eyebrows and phoenix eyes, Wang Mayatong looked at the black dragon with a hint of surprise in her eyes. "Now I am still 50% sure, but if this unknown Emperor Black Dragon can advance again in 1 or 2 years, I am afraid that no one will be Chen Wei's opponent in the National Beast Taming College competition." Hearing such a high evaluation from Wang Mayatong, Luo Wei couldn't help but feel condensed in her heart. This year, the national competition has gathered geniuses, and it is difficult to say who will win or lose. But according to Chen Wei's growth trend, unless the school is willing to spend a lot of money, the national beast taming competition for the next 4 years will be dominated by Chen Wei. By then, Ziwei University will occupy the first place in the national college rankings for 4 full years, which is something that all beast taming universities can hardly tolerate. You know, the ranking of national colleges every year represents the investment intensity of the Donghua Beast Taming Association in the school's resources. At the same time, the exchange students of Jinhua University also stared at the screen in a daze. Do we need to ask the school to investigate? If it weren't for Grandmaster Han's intervention, Chen Wei would never have been able to contract the Emperor Dragon with his strength. A man with clear facial features, sharp edges and perfect body lines looked at the school chief whom he had always admired. "Yin Yi, I'll give you a Yunxing Huandan. Are you sure you can subdue the Emperor Dragon?" Shu Zhai said with a burning gaze. Yin Yi frowned and thought, then exhaled a breath of turbid air. "I don't think I can subdue it. His family knows his own business. Let alone the Emperor Dragon, even if a hegemon dragon was placed in front of him, he would not be sure to subdue it. The Yin family is backed by the Shu family in Jinhua and occupies part of the beast-controlling resources in JH City. Although the children of the Yin family cannot easily get the king pet beasts that are extremely precious in the eyes of ordinary people, as long as they pay a certain price, they can definitely get the king beasts with enough potential. And Yin Yi, with the help of his family, once had the opportunity to contract the king dragon, but unfortunately the proud dragon did not fancy him. Emperor True Dragon. Contracting a pet of such a high race level, no wonder the Zidin City Beastmaster Association regards Chen Wei as a legendary seed. If even Chen Wei, who has contracted an Emperor True Dragon and is the first in 1,000 years, can't break through to the legendary level, how many geniuses in Donghua can break through to the legendary level? At this point, Shu Zhai's eyes revealed a trace of deep jealousy. Even though he is the legitimate son of the Jinhua Shu family, he still does not have the qualifications to contract an Emperor True Dragon. How can Chen Wei, A genius who came out of a third-tier city gets such a shocking opportunity and even completely suppress his title of genius. On the other side, the villa complex of Lishu University. A woman in a blue skirt with long black hair and a charming temperament is making tea while paying attention to the challenge of the SYNOPSIS ranking. Senior sister, with the strength Chen Wei has shown so far, how can he be ranked 15th on the futile ranking? The gentle and lovely girl looked up and asked. Shui Zai, the chief of Lishu University, frowned. It's probably because of the training of the teacher. Chen Wei did not inherit the information of the trial. Chapter 450 Kicks a Frost Wolf. These are all small matters. How is the progress of the exploration of the Buddha realm now? Shui Zai changed the subject. Unlike the three powerful universities of Jinhua, Zitan and Shihuang, Lishu University, which advocates Shongshuang Ruishu, does not care much about the national university rankings. Unless Lishu University can reach the top, the resources allocated to the 4th and 5th rankings will not be much different. Senior sister, the exploration progress of the Source Star Realm is stuck again. The girl looked embarrassed. The Source Star Realm is a cultivation world created by the Buddha Beast Refining Tower to receive star power and consume a lot of source power. It is divided into 9 layers. The higher the number of layers, the faster the Source Star cultivation speed is. However, the Source Star Realm opened up by the Beast Refining Tower is too vast. Every time they spend a lot of credits to enter the cultivation room, it is random, and it is difficult to find the target. Have the cultivation rooms on the 6th and 7th floors of the Source Star Realm been ruled out? Shui Zai said calmly. According to previous records, it has basically been ruled out. If there is really a phantom heavy Emperor Dragon Soul in the Beast Refining Tower, it should be in the cultivation room on the 8th or 9th floor of the Source Star Realm. The girl bowed her head slightly. 200 years ago, Shui Kengaya, Shui Zai's grandmother, now the vice president of Lishu University, detected traces of the illusionary Emperor Dragon in the Beast Refining Tower and gained huge benefits through trading. Since then, the Shui family has sent core members of the clan to the Pagoda Tower as exchange students of Lishu University every year. Unfortunately, the soul of the illusionary Emperor Dragon has a strong ability to hide. Except for Shui Kengaya, no genius in the Shui family has been able to encounter such an amazing opportunity for hundreds of years. Very good, tell the people below not to slack off. When I break through the 5th level of the inheritance trial, I will personally explore the training rooms on the 8th and 9th levels of the Source Star Realm. After saying that, Shui Zai looked at the black dragon on the screen with a serious look. That was the opponent she had to face in the future. Shongshuang Ruishu said it nicely, but in the final analysis, the strength of the students of Lishu University was slightly weaker than that of the other 4 famous schools. Otherwise, if they were able to compete for the 1st place, who would choose to follow the trend and become the 4th or 5th? At this time, Chen Wei, who was regarded as the biggest opponent by everyone, was quietly waiting for the response of Yu Kangcheng and the other 2. Ningji did not hesitate and took a few steps forward to the ring. Don't look down on me too much. If you have the ability, defeat me first. Ningji's voice sounded cold but not without a bit of heroism. It was just a challenge match. She would not lose the battle even if she lost the fight. Even if she lost to Chen Wei, she would never give up her dignity and bully the weak with the strong. Without waiting for the referee to announce the start of the match, the star ring on Ningji's finger glowed, and the majestic source of power vibrated around her. As the dazzling red rune formation appeared, a terrifying beast with 2 horns bent downward. A golden single eye that was breathtaking, and surging waves on its body suddenly appeared. It had human-like palms, and a thick, viper-like python was wrapped around its chest. When it walked on its feet, the entire arena gave people a feeling of flood. Pet name, Swimming Viper Ape. Pet attributes, Water, Earth. Racial level, Brilliant King. Strength level, Level 5 Middle. Racial skills, Swimming Viper Roar, Ape Sea Waves, Overturning the World, Prisoning Dragon Climbing Waterfall. Ningji looked at the Swimming Viper Ape, who raised his head and roared, instantly turning the battle stage into a vast ocean. Without any reservation, he poured all the source power accumulated by his innate talent, stacking mountains and accumulating seas, into the next attack. Swimming Viper Roar. The crazy waves rose to the sky, as if the flood that was about to destroy the world was brewing more and more shockingly. The surging waves carried a terrifying force and swept towards Teodi. However, Teodi did not dodge. and used its powerful body to break through the huge waves. 3 dragon claws flashing with blue lightning attacked the head of the swimming viper ape, but were blocked by the giant viper on its chest. Boom, water waves and blood splashed, and a huge scratch suddenly appeared on the chest of the swimming viper ape. It opened its mouth, as if it wanted to roar angrily, but it still fell to the ground powerlessly, and was submerged and covered by the flood it released. The head-on collision between Tamed and Viper Ape lasted only 1 second, and ended with Viper Ape being seriously injured. At this time, Ningji raised her hands unwillingly. "I give up." The swimming Viper Ape was her trumpet, but it was severely injured after only 1 round of fighting. With such a huge gap in strength, she would get nothing by insisting on fighting except that her partner would be injured in vain. Chen Wei looked at Ningji, who was hurriedly taking out the elixir to treat his pet in the distance, with a calm face. It is inevitable that pets will be injured in battle, not to mention that he specially let Tamed control the power of the skill. It seems that Tamed will not have a chance to actually use the Dark Dragon Cannon this time, Chen Wei thought to himself. It's not that he is arrogant. If Tamed releases the terrifying 8th level legendary skill of Dark Dragon Cannon, even if it passes by and doesn't hit, the intense high temperature and energy can evaporate pets below the 6th level, excluding the 6th level, in an instant, leaving no trace of debris. So strong, Yu Kangcheng and Gao Jingsheng looked at each other, their faces full of solemnity. Encountering such a powerful opponent, they are now single-handedly defeated, and they lose face in a group, and they are in a dilemma for a while. "Please," Chen Wei extended his hand to invite the remaining 2. Glancing at Yu Kangcheng, who was still preparing, Gao Jingsheng stood up, stepped hard, and landed on the ring nimbly. At the same time, the snow-white scarf around his neck also unfolded and fell to the ground, gradually expanding to reveal its true appearance. It was a majestic white wolf. A blue crystal was inlaid on the top of its head, and its pupils were light gold but glowed with a strange blue light. The giant wolf's fangs were exposed, and under its mouth that was spitting cold air was snow-white fluff. The messy hair flowed like frost, exuding a biting cold. 4 strong and sturdy feet stood on the ground, forming a shallow layer of thin ice on the ground. The appearance of this Kixa frost wolf is comparable to that of K Ling. Looking at this eye-catching frost wolf that seemed to have walked out of the ice and snow world, Chen Wei's eyes lit up. At this time, the Kixa frost wolf, which had expanded to 5 meters in length, was already standing in front of Tamed, surrounded by frost, and its momentum suddenly burst out, emitting an ancient and powerful extreme cold breath. Sensing the frost air that permeated the battlefield, Chen Wei subconsciously ran the Tyrant Dragon secret record in his body. The frost exuded from the Kixa frost wolf's body seemed beautiful and dreamy, but it concealed unspeakable dangers. Ordinary pets could be corroded by the frost if they were not careful, and thus fall into eternal sleep in the endless extreme cold. Even though Chen Wei had practiced a Tyrant Dragon secret record to the late 2nd level, he could still feel the approaching danger in his breath. The frost exuded by the Kixa frost wolf can enter the lungs through breathing, Gao Jingsheng reminded. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.